It's Thursday. We're not late. We're not early. We show up just when we plan to. The hamsters know what they're doing. That's right, D-Bud. Welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. I am Tom Connors. You're not seeing things. The boss man is here for a few minutes. How you doing, Andre?
I'm doing pretty okay for being sleep deprived.
I know what you mean. I've had a hell of a night myself. Also joining us is that 70s rock fan. How you doing, Brian?
Well, I'm doing very well, sir. I'm sitting here in an empty room with a laptop and a headset because I'm moving soon.
And a train, it sounds like now.
And a train. We have a train outside. Yes, lovely. I like the sound of the trains.
Ah, then it's all good.
And also back again, the elusive Mexican Iron Man.
I am happy to be back. I have been on I think it's been 3 weeks now, my hiatus due to tax season. And then I just got back from Dallas. The hangover has passed. I'm no longer hungover. Good news. Boy, I'm way too old to be doing that. But here we go. Let's do this.
Are you well hungover?
Just don't name it after me. Yeah. Are you well hungover?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to ask Lindsay, who I met at the Hilton Army.
Hello. That's not the name you said to me.
No, Lindsay. That's why I met
Lindsay. Is Lindsay? Okay, maybe it was Lindsay.
Lindsay
For
could
Lindsay's
be a man's
sake,
name.
we'll say it was Lindsay. No, I'm just kidding.
The man's name.
Yeah,
Lindsay
could be a guy's name too.
No, you stop that right now.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, these days you can never be sure, can you?
Oh, I was sure. Andre, I made sure.
Okay, I'm very glad to hear that. And Mazel Tov, like that's what they say or something.
I don't know. Maybe we'll ask Script Doctor. Do you know?
Do I know what now?
What?
What's going on?
Is Mazel Tov what you say?
For what?
Andre, to Mike's.
No, that's when you get married. I wasn't trying to get married.
Okay. Well, my man, because he had a very good weekend.
America.
Did you wrap it up?
Oh my God, Script Doctor's here. Let's welcome him.
God damn it, Mike!
Better get tested.
I'm more worried about him having more Mikeys.
Oh my God, look at this amazing topic we have to discuss tonight. Oh, look, we have people in the chat.
Most of the crap he can just get a shot for anymore. It's like a kid, you can't.
Oh, look.
Well, penicillin doesn't have as much effect as you think.
Oh, look, also, we have another guest. Quick,
we do. And actually, this is somebody I was hoping to get on at the same time as Andre because we have a story I want to talk about. Welcome, Valiant Renegade.
Hey, guys. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was talking. I had a buddy of mine in Dallas this weekend. His name was Lindsay. He was doing this Joker. He's cross-dressing all weekend long, scamming on guys and posting shit.
Okay, you know what?
I saw a guy called Lindsay on Twitter tweeting about an enormous disappointment he had with a date.
Okay, you know what?
I'm not talking this cute Mexican boy, but what a disappointment. I found it here.
Okay, you know what?
Sorry,
hold on. I'm not talking to this guy right now. I'm not talking to that guy right now.
Welcome, Valiants. You had a stream this morning, did you not?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of recovering. I haven't been feeling too well this week. I had three people in my house sick last week, and I think I kind of got it this week. And it's just it's not been too bad, but it's been lingering, and I haven't been sleeping much. Yeah, it's just
mutating it and passing it around. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's just they had 3 people in the house with strep last week, so it's just kind of hanging out there. So kind of dragging, but I'm here. Just hanging in, and we'll get through it.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about Bob Chapek, but before we get to that, a quick rundown. Was there any interesting developments from Universal this morning, or Comcast, whatever you want to call it, in their earnings call?
I don't know if you'd consider anything particularly interesting apart from what has already been stated, I think, in the press in the last few days. Obviously, the parks and resorts had a very good quarter. We've seen news recently, showing how Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure in Orlando have basically eclipsed all of the Disney parks save one, of course, the Magic Kingdom, in terms of visitors during the period measured, which was last quarter, from July 1st through September 30th. So, look, as they continue to grow, as they add the new park, Epic Universe, Nintendo Land, I guess as it were, Disney better start doing something, because their reign is not just going to be a given forever. I mean, 5-10 years from now, we could have a new champion in Orlando. Universal's doing a lot of things right. Obviously, a good bit of the earnings call, and especially almost all the Q&A, was dedicated towards their broadband service, their wireless service. Of course, that's their bread and butter, is their subscription or fee revenue, monthly revenue from people that use them for cable, that use them for internet, use them for cellular service now. But some of the highlights, I thought, for as far as what we cover, was clearly Universal dominated the theatrical market this summer. Between Minions: Rise of Gru and Jurassic World, whether you love the movies or hate the movies, those two movies together represented just shy of $2 billion of global revenue. The only reason maybe it didn't look, it may have looked prettier, especially with the international figures, and this is something I have not yet really discussed, but one of the things coming up frequently in almost every one of these earnings calls going on right now in the last couple of weeks, and there's still plenty more to go, is people talking about, or the companies that have significant international exposure, like a Universal, like a Disney that's coming up, is the FX drag, which I routinely have to re-explain for the audience, which is fine. That's what we're here to do. But that's that foreign currency drag, right? We have a period right now of economic issues going on, let's call it, and the dollar is strengthening. So a lot of these international revenues for movie ticket sales, for example, for a Universal or a Disney, are being affected by the negative impact of, hey, that foreign currency is now purchasing fewer dollars because the dollar's strengthening. So, so that's one thing that's affecting things. But still, a $2 billion summer haul between those two films that they released, live action and animated, is nothing to shake a stick at. And Universal is doing a lot of things right. I think Universal, probably out of all the major studios out there, probably has the best business system set up, right? Because they do that pay one window like we've discussed. They take movies like Jurassic World and like Minions: Rise of Gru. The first 4 months that they're on a streaming service after their theatrical run is on Peacock. Then for the next 10 months in that pay one window, they go to Netflix and Amazon Prime, respectively, depending if it's animated or live action. Those contracts are multi-year. They're worth $1 billion plus.
Which is funny, because they're the ones who started this whole going streaming day and date to begin with.
Yeah, them and Warner.
Pissed off the theaters back.
Yeah, them and Warner.
Like 2 years ago.
But it's working for them. And I mean, they had just over $2 billion of third-party licensing and distribution revenue in that division.
That's the thing, yeah. Well, and
that represents those Netflix and Amazon Prime contracts.
Yeah.
Guess what Disney's been reporting for third-party licensing and revenue distribution the last couple of quarters?
Not a lot.
No,
sure.
It's getting close to zero, folks, and that's not an exaggeration. They've been bringing everything in-house to Disney+, whereas Sony, which does not have their own streaming service, obviously they license everything out. They signed a new deal with Netflix. It used to be Starz, which is why Spider-Man: No Way Home was on Starz this summer in July, because it was a 2021 release. But everything that Sony has put out beginning January 1st and going forward, think Uncharted, for example, that goes to Netflix now, and that will go to Netflix for the next 5 years, and that contract is worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a big difference there. So Universal is hitting a lot of the right notes from a business standpoint. It's going to be interesting to see what Disney can do on Tuesday, November 8th, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Live show over on my channel. We'll be covering it. I'm curious to see what's going to come out of that.
Yeah, and it's funny because there was a video that I proposed to Andre that we just never got to, just because it didn't seem like it probably had enough interest to waste the time on it. But the basic bottom line was, why is Universal kind of just able to do what they're able to do? And a big part of it is, like you said, Jurassic Park, the Minions, and Fast and the Furious. Those are three franchises that are so big that people forget about how big they are. The merchandising side of them.
Well, that's what I was. Think of the merchandising.
Yeah.
For Minions had $6 billion in global merchandising sales before the Rise of Gru kicked off.
Right.
Jurassic World, when kids go buy dinosaur toys, Like Jurassic World is a brand name that basically owns dinosaurs. Disney had Lightyear.
Yeah, you're not wrong, because they would go from,
leave
it
it
was
there.
literally like the last Jurassic movie, they moved those toys out and moved in the Cretaceous Netflix series toys. They moved those out, moved in the Dominion toys. Like, it was literally boom, 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 boom. There was no discount rack for those Jurassic toys. I never once saw them on the clearance rack. Like, and same thing with Godzilla. And that's what I always pointed out, is that Warner got smart, or Legendary got smart, and they realized, shit, we're alienating the number one audience here we need to get on board, and that is the kids, because they love monsters, they love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
We have both.
Renegade
It's
Jr.
like-
had me chasing the John Hammond collection T-Rex all summer.
See? Yeah.
I mean, that's like the high end, quote unquote high end. That's like the $50 Jurassic, World toy that they
the
put
big
out.
T-Rex or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the John Hammond collection. Y'all can look up, but I mean that's still big time. Disney just doesn't seem to have anything like that right now, and just
well, and the
that-
big point of that video I was going to make was, like, look at how Disney is so litigious, right? Like, they'll go after anybody for anything. You sneeze something in their vicinity, they'll go after you. But the Minions thing, that was the big point of my video I was going to make, was that Universal doesn't go after anybody about Minions. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
In fact, they'll sanction a lot of that stuff. They'll give them things that, like, a lot of daycare centers and stuff like that. They'll send them Minion stuff if they ask for it, I guess, free of charge. So unlike Disney, who actually tried to charge daycare centers for showing Disney movies, like, seriously. But anyway, Andre, I'm curious, because I know you only got a limited time. I'm curious to hear. I mean, it's business as usual, it sounds like, over at Universal.
Yeah, I really don't have much else to say about it other than just that it sounds like business as usual and nothing really to report, because within what they have and the limitations of Peacock, they found a way to monetize it by keeping it exclusive for a period and then selling it off, rather than keep it to themselves and get no direct revenue outside of subs. So not much to say, because they're doing things right.
Indeed. Another company that we question on whether or not they're doing things right, before we lose you here, because this is one I know you're planning a video on, but Valiant, since I got you both here, actually watched this whole interview with Bob Chapek. Now, this is starting to make some headlines here, and of course, you were saying, Valiant, that this headline's a bit, what did you say, misleading? Was that the term you used?
Yeah, I'd straight up call it misleading. I mean, I guess it's good for capture. Look, and I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to try to defend Bob Chapek one way or the other on this one, but he was directly asked a question by, and I cannot remember the guy's name, but the guy from Wall Street Journal, let's just call it that. This was about a 45-minute interview. There was a lot of things discussed, and there were several questions peppered in there regarding, and I think the Wall Street Journal guy even brought up the word woke at some point. Do you consider Disney too woke and all this? Bob Chapek did not say no or yes, or he did not even acknowledge the word woke. He gave, frankly, a very measured, obviously rehearsed response, very political answer, just basically stating what he stated months ago. Look, we want to make sure that I'm paraphrasing, we're trying to create that big tent environment. We have our cast that we want to be able to make sure that they're happy. We have an audience that we want to expand to. We want to bring in new audiences. So we're doing things along that vein. He was not, look, this is the thing. Chapek was very cognizant of the position he was in. He's not a stupid guy, whether you like him or not. He was not going to offer the kind of soundbite that probably many in the media, both his fans and detractors, would have liked to have had. He I think, gave a very mundane answer, if anything, more boilerplate language than anything. Honestly, I thought it was more incumbent upon the Wall Street Journal guy if he probably should have asked a follow-up question, because the issue of House Bill 1557, Governor Ron DeSantis, the whole crap that went down in March, the back and forth, issue of Lightyear. The problem was I was expecting a question from the Wall Street Journal guys, a follow-up. Well, after all of this was said and done, Lightyear was a bomb at the box office. Do you think this had anything to do with it? But that question never came. So Chapek was never really put in a position to have to answer it one way or another because of the way that the questions that he did get were phrased. But that was my only complaint, is that I don't think that the right question was sent, because otherwise I think we would have gotten some more clarity.
As for me, I think it was quite deliberate that we didn't get that clarity.
Yep.
Because that way he can keep on playing games with the wokes within Disney that he's going to fire. He can say, no, we're very happy with how we are. He can say that to the public while he keeps on firing all the woke stuff, which is what we're hearing is going on behind the scenes right now. So basically what it sounds to me like he's doing is that he's publicly gaslighting the gaslighters.
That's kind of funny.
I would agree with that.
It's kind of like let's say I want to let Valiant go because he's too woke, and then I would make an announcement that, guys, it's the economy, and we're gonna have to make some cuts, and it's not political. It's just economic forecasting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That way he can shield himself. He can hide behind that because he can't be seen. Because he has said that he wants to take the company away from being political, but that itself can be seen as a political act, and he has to be really careful with that, maintaining appearances that what he does for purely economical reasons.
Correct.
And not ideological in any way. And the fact that you ideologues are the ones being rooted out by Hollywood one by one, but that's just a coincidence. No one is trying for that.
Anyone waiting for Chapek to take a stand against woke is waiting for something that's never going to happen, because the one time it looked that he wasn't wokey, things melted down and went to hell in a handbasket.
I was going to say, he's already been through this enough, and exactly as Mike said, I was even thinking about that. If you're waiting for him to take a public stand against the wokey wokes and like repudiate them, I was going to say you're waiting for Godot. I'm like, we're in that same line there. That's not the way Disney works. That's never the way they've worked. They're never going to come out and do a public mea culpa. You know, Chapek has been raked over the coals by both sides of this since this crap started in March. He has no intention, like I said, of giving anybody, anywhere, any kind of soundbite that can then be turned to some public headline discussion for the next 2 weeks to take a hot dump on him again. He's tired of it. And at the end of the day, if you listen to what he said, if you actually watch this entire 45-minute interview, you're going to hear him say the things that I've been saying about him now for a year, where he is laser focused in on what do the customers want, what is going to return the biggest ROI to our investors. And right now, he's as every company out there that has been polluted with this ESG crap from on high, thinking that this is what they have to do. And this is why I keep saying, if the audience votes with their wallets and votes with their eyeballs long enough, the message is going to get through. Some things work, other things don't. And the things that don't work are slowly going to get phased out. But we have to be patient.
Yeah, I noticed the phrase catering to your audience. So he must be well aware that certain divisions under him have, and certain people within them have, as recently as the last week or two, have gone after their audience and attacked them. So that's an angle he may well be looking to exploit.
Well, I know that's been a problem with the company.
Why have you attacked your audience? We want the audience to like our stuff, not to be attacked.
And here's the thing, and we got Nick in the background here. So how you doing, Nick?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. This has been a great discussion. As I was getting my house stuff done, I was listening to this conversation. So I'll let Valiant and Andre continue to have the floor, and I'll chime in when necessary.
Have a question here, or at least I have let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
I know from everybody I've heard, that Andre and I have talked to and certain other things. I kind of have an idea of what's going on behind the scenes. I know what Valiant's saying. I know what Andre's saying. But I can also see from the point of view of the other side, from the audience point of view, from those who are trying to protect their kids, from those who are sick and tired of this bullshit from Disney, how Chapek has really seemingly dropped the ball on a lot of this crap. Now Mike brings up a good point. The one time he did push back, what happened? Right? Like,
Oh yeah, I remember.
at the same time, we had another swing back, and then they had the problem with Florida answering back in kind when they decided to have their big, hullabaloo of one person walking out in Florida and a couple people walking out in California. So I guess my question is for those who, from the audience's standpoint, and I can understand that because I'm kind of in the same boat at this point, even though I hear all these rumors and stuff like you guys, and I'm seeing the stuff that's out there, I'm still waiting to see if Chapek is going to make any moves. And I know he doesn't have the power to do things as quickly and swiftly and as Zaslav does. But at the same time, at this point, these meandering answers like this, I get where Andre and Valiant are coming from, but as an audience member from that other standpoint going, yeah, but you've done fucked up for the last few years. When are you going to change this shit? I can't trust Disney with my kids no more. Right. And I think that's a
well,
big
I'm
point
one of those
that needs to be
parents.
addressed. Yeah.
I'm one of those parents that does not trust Disney with my kids. I did it on the show, I think damn near live months ago when I said I took Max's access away. I think it was this show on a Tuesday night, the day I did it.
Yeah, you said that. It was a while ago. But
yeah, it was a while back, but I mean, I did it live on the show because of something that had happened. Maybe it was the Buzz Lightyear thing. I can't remember, but I'm one of those parents. At the same so putting that hat on, sure, I want to hear about this or that or this or that, but that's just not going to happen. And so I've got to put on my Midnight's Edge hat on, Midnight's Edge After Dark hat on, and realize that's not going to happen. If a parent like me is ever going to be able to trust Disney, it's not going to come from the announcement of a CEO that there's going to be a course correct or a cultural shift. It's going to have to be because I'm going to have to see the meat and potatoes. I'm going to have to see what gets released. Is it safe? And I'm going to have to analyze the behavior of this company. I'll give you an example. I just talked to my sister a couple weeks ago when in the middle of tax season. She's an annual pass holder still. And I asked her, what is her experience like going to Disneyland? And I said, and my sister is way out there. She's like, loves Obi-Wan. She's a Disney fangirl. She's, Disney shill all the way. Me and my sister have gotten a knockdown drag out so bad that we didn't talk after Christmas for like a couple months. It was so bad we argue about Disney. Anyway, and I said, and she's got a couple kids. One of them's alternative lifestyle and binary, whatever they call it, that kind of thing. Anyway, so I asked my sister. She says, "Oh my God, it's so woke. I can't believe it. It's now distracting to go to the park." So until I hear something otherwise, until I see other things, Disney is going to limp along, and it's going to take. I think the noose is going to have to strangle around this company. I mean, if you look at the stock price of this company now, and let's just look at the stock price of this company before Iger took it on a buying spree. I mean, this company is sitting on. I was thinking about this morning earlier. I was listening to the replay of Valiant's Comcast call. Sorry, Valiant, I was asleep this morning.
That's all right.
Yeah, sorry, but it was brilliant. But you did a great job, and I'll be there for the Paramount one. But the thing that stands out for me is you got this company. Let's not forget that this is the company that not only bought Star Wars, which right now is not generating any cash for them. There's no blockbuster movies. Disney Plus is a capital and operating expense outlay. Mm-hmm. They're not bringing in enough subs to make that profitable. Yep. There's no merchandise selling for shit.
Nope.
Let's remember they bought Fox.
Unless it's old stuff, that's the only things that are selling. Like again, and you'll see the adults who aren't as aware of things that are going on. You'll see them buy the old stuff. Like you'll see there's
rarely
like an
R2D2
Lego thing where you can build R2. They'll buy that.
But the merchandise numbers are weak as shit. All right?
Oh yeah, compared to
what they used to be.
Hold on, let me finish. I got one more point. Hold on. And then this is a company that also got mountains of debt, bought Fox, did nothing with that. I mean, this is a company that's sitting on debt and assets that are not being deployed. and their woke politics. This is a company that needs to get its ass kicked by Comcast, Universal, and others across the board. It needs to get its ass kicked in merchandising. It needs to get its ass kicked in the theme parks. It needs to get its ass kicked by Warner Brothers on the Marvel. This is a company that if it's ever going to course correct, it needs to get its shit together, because as a viewer of their shows, as a former annual pass holder, this company is not safe for me and my family, and I am not letting my kid anywhere near this fucking company.
Now think about for a second the dichotomy between the response to this Florida issue earlier this year between Disney and Universal Studios, which a lot of folks also attempted to embroil in the situation, and Universal was just like, no, we're good. Nope, not doing it. Universal did not dive into that. And it's kind of hard. I mean, although this is certainly not a definitive statement, we can only do theory and conjecture on this end. But it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that there were two big budget, one of them more than twice as much as the other, Lightyear, movies that came out this summer. Lightyear and Minions: Rise of Gru. One of them was a runaway smash hit. The other one was a massive financial failure. And the only difference between the two is, a few months before, one studio decided to jump in both feet into politics and the other didn't. And look, as far as Star Wars goes, and it being, like I said the other day, it's kind of becoming a dead brand here, folks. There's a reason that they shoved those 2 episodes of Mando into Boba Fett, like we've all discussed. It wasn't just about getting people to watch it. The more I look back, the more conversations Pro and I have had regarding some of the information we've been receiving from these toy industry professionals, the more convinced I become that those episodes were stuck in there because the toy makers that have contracts with Disney were desperate for something for Star Wars, and they needed Grogu. They needed Mando. They needed a revitalization. It had been 18 months. They needed something. So those episodes were put in there so it would help repush some of those big licensing contracts that these toy makers have laid out. It's just we're just watching all of this come together, and Disney's got a lot of fixing to do, and it's going to take time, but they're going to have the willpower to do it.
And Andre sent me this image here, so I'm sure he has something to say about it. But I'm still laughing in the background here at Black Lives Matter horn. That's fucking
that is hilarious. Yeah.
People land.
But
I
Andre, so what's
picture.
so what's with this Snow White privilege I have on screen here now?
Well, it was in reference to what Mike was saying when in reference to your sister, who is partially down with all this stuff, but now Disneyland or Disney World is too woke even for her. And then I was like, have you been there recently? Like this picture right here you have like Antifa land burning the castle. You have Black Lives Matter horn. They make it clear that, exactly. That you need to have your politics in order before you're allowed. And also a certain status where your personal medical choices are concerned. Like it's all of this. Oh, of course, the socialism go around in the background there. I just love the details in this picture. So is this kind of like representative of what Disneyland has become now?
Yeah, in fact, she said the outfits are different. There were a couple people that were so obviously trans it was distracting. There used to be something where everybody had to look a certain way and dress a certain way and be almost, they were part of the support staff, but they were, very similar to, if you go anywhere, right? I mean, you go to a restaurant and, the wait staff are all in black shirts. And like she said, it was just obviously distracting. The other thing she said is that she felt that some of the I'm just going to say it, some of the folks that are of different type of sexual identity backgrounds and some of the minority cast members, and by the way, she's Mexican, right? She's dark skinned like I am, and she says that they just seemed like they were angry to be there and not happy and very not customer service friendly, very hostile. And now my sister is not in our fandom. She is not, like I said, she is a Disney shill to the degree. And for her to start making these comments blew me away.
Well, it
Yeah,
only goes
and-
to show that she's. Sorry, I don't mean to cut in there, but
No,
because I
go
have to
ahead,
drop out
Andre,
here
go
soon.
ahead.
But only goes to show that even she starts to differentiate or separate her love from the Disney that she remembers and the Disney of the past with what Disney has become over the last few years. So I hope for her and for everyone else that Disney going forward will better be able to go back to what they used to be, to what they still have really hardcore fans for, and deservedly so. When you look at all of the catalog of Disney, traditionally this should be a company that deserves your fandom and your loyalty and your custom and your admiration. But the company in its current form, or the form that it has had the past decade, has deserved no such thing. And it's just nostalgia that keeps them going. It has to become real again, representative of the audience favor, if this
Yeah,
is
and
to sustain.
yeah, and at this point right now, Disney's taking a lot of hits below the belt, especially in the last week, and we're going to get to that with the Kevin Feige response to James Gunn in just a moment here. I don't know, for those who may not have heard, the premiere of Black Panther Wakanda Forever happened last night, and the headlines aren't about that. Check out every major Hollywood news outlet. The headlines are all about Kevin Feige's reaction to the James Gunn news. So we're going to get to that in just a moment, but I know we got some super chats here I want to get to before we get too deep in the woods. Waltman sends in $9.99. Thank you. Says the money is being transferred, so tomorrow Twitter will be fully owned by Musk, and all the employees will have to let that sink in since he carried it in. But now they've lost both Twitter and CNN. Yeah, Andre, your response to Musk's takeover of Twitter.
I'm so happy, and I hope that it will pay off for him and that it will work out for the world. Because as it is right now, as it has been, Twitter has been a disaster for humanity. It's been one of the worst things to happen in the history of mankind. And it's social media, I think, is a disaster. Humanity would have been better off without it. But now that genie is out of the bottle, I just hope that it will be better controlled and the negative influence better contained under Elon Musk. And I certainly trust him more with it than the people who currently run the show.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I have to-
Anybody got any? Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, I have to chuckle at the irony of the disgruntled employees demanding that they are not discriminated against for their political beliefs when
Yeah.
they spent 99% of their time doing just that to their supposed customers.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they know what it's like. They're like, oh, we cannot end up on the other side of this. So now we must demand no political discrimination. Now we must demand what we did not give. I mean, that's
Pretty much.
Those employees don't seem to understand what's going on. I mean, to sit there, it's like, we're going to make demands of this. We're going to make demands of that. And I saw this Twitter post that's been floating around everywhere today about, well, here's the thing. And if they don't do it, 75% of Twitter employees might just walk off the job.
Save
And-
some money on
Oh,
severance.
Do him a
Right.
favor.
So
yeah,
they don't have to
exactly.
pay them.
Did
Yeah.
not Elon say he was going to lay off about that much of the staff?
And
So
there's-
go for it, losers. I mean, Twitter
It
has
saves him a lot of money. He doesn't have to pay them off.
no.
if they
There's no
walk off.
severance. Quit, please. Go ahead. And he's probably hoping most of these assholes
So I said
quit.
they'd be doing him a favor. Exactly.
Listen, he brought in a bathroom sink for a reason, not just for it to sink in, but that's the sink that you use to wash your hands of bad deeds and dirt more often than
It would have
anything
been
else.
better bringing a bidet in, I think. Obviously, the pun
Bidet
wouldn't
or a
work. but-
toilet. Be like,
Yeah, How much water did you drink? I had 3 toilets in a bidet. It's like a dog fountain.
It's that Twitter has been a pox on society, as has Facebook, and I was so frankly, I was so happy to see Facebook get shanked aftermarket with that massive drop that they had. Twitter's another problem because look, here's the bottom line, guys. we know, just like Robert Iger at Disney knew when they were investigating, as from his own mouth, when they were looking to acquire Twitter, that the only 5% of Twitter users are bots is bullshit. It's way, way higher. Even Robert Iger knew it. And here's the issue, is that those bots, the fakery, the fraud, and all this crap that goes on these social media sites like Facebook and Twitter, this is what everybody complains about ESG and DEI. This is what these lunatics use to force in these types of things to these big companies. And it's basically, we know now that a lot of it is botted and bullshit. So, and that's what they are fearful of the most. When a guy like Elon Musk comes in and cleans house, and he dumps, and look, and this is why I think it's good right now taking it private. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. You know, we can come out there and we can clean out the 35 or 40% of Twitter that might be bullshit bot accounts. It might actually be that high. Who knows?
I think it's higher.
It may be. And we lost 40% of our users when Elon took over. Well, that's because they were fake. And everything, you know, all this gauging, this social media, we talked about recently, like with Whip Media, with Parrot Analytics, all these companies that use social media and hashtags to gauge what's doing well, what's popular. Oh, this works, the woke stuff works, people want progressive, this and that. When all these bots disappear, guess what, folks? Reality is going to set in. Shit going to change.
Sadly,
that's what they don't like.
It should have already changed sooner because the thing is, the idea of the whole look at all these likes and retweets, they're going viral. So this must be like the reflection of the world. None of that shit. Or sorry, I'm a little exaggerating here. Maybe we're gonna say almost none of that shit translated into money. It was just all smoke and mirrors. It was mostly smoke and mirrors, and yet people kept thinking, "Oh, like they really are. People are like this," and it was just. Then no one thought, okay, hey, I should put two and two together. Is this translating into toy sales numbers? Is this translating into box office numbers? Is this translating into sales for movies or video games? And they don't translate. How is no one piecing that together? Like, it should be I feel like it's so obvious, and yet no one in all these companies are like, okay, how are we getting all these likes and retweets, but yet no one is buying this shit? Like, it's fake. It's absolutely fucking fake. And no one, I feel like even normies should have like caught on to that. I feel like that was that obvious. It'd be one thing if these things were translating into sales. It would be a much harder argument to have against it. But we're seeing that these things are being rejected. And it isn't just by right-wing people. It's even by people who are moderately left. There could be people who are center, or even people who are even very apolitical, because a lot of people, they forget, are still not political. There's still a very gray bubble where people
I call it the purple.
Yeah, we'll call it purple. Thank you, purple. So we'll go purple. A lot of people are still very in that purple area, and that's fine. And they forget that. And they think everyone's just in this political bubble, when people who usually say this whole thing in California about how they got to reflect the world they live in, it usually comes from people who live in California and New York, and they think the way the world is what LA or NYC is, and they don't think about Middle America, South America,
the
North
two
America.
least American cities in the country.
The two least American city they think reflects the entire country.
Yeah. I like Gisella's comment here. Twitter is about to turn into Thunderdome. I think you're right. My friend.
I think if they just applied their rules evenly, then that would be enough.
Oh, God forbid. Go ahead, Andre. Yeah.
And I just, before I head out there, I just want to say, if only it were so well that they thought that they were reflecting the entire country. They think they're reflecting the entire world.
I know.
Yes.
They think the insanity they put on screen and their representation is representative of anything beyond their postcode. And that's what I like to point out. They don't represent the world. They don't represent America. They don't even represent their city. They represent their postcode.
Yeah. And Mr. Tickle Trunk, the answer is both.
I was going to say,
who run Twitter Town? Master Blaster runs Twitter Town.
Yeah, he is both. There is no separation here.
That's right.
So, and I know I'm going to have to run too long with Andre.
Yes,
I'm going to go
so
pick
thank
up the
you,
kids.
Valiant and Andre, for hopping in for a little bit here. Appreciate the insight on the JPEG business and the Universal news. And Andre, of course, always it's fun to get you to hang out on After Dark, of course.
Yeah, I look forward to waking up in 4 hours here. So yeah.
Hopefully you get
bed,
more
sir.
sleep than I did.
The show must go on, Andre.
Yeah,
The show
exactly.
must go on.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for having me. Take care, everyone.
Take care, guy. Take care,
good night,
Andre.
guys.
Valiant.
Take
Later,
care,
Valiant.
folks. See y'all.
All right, and we got George the Giant Slayer slinging in a huge super chat here. I gotta mention this one. He goes, "All hail mighty Midnight's Edge After Dark. Very simple. If MCU Phase FU wants 72% of the country to watch
Not to
Wakanda Forever,
watch.
or not to watch, sorry, I will oblige. Don't blame white people for it failing. Wishing you all the best, my brothers." Yeah, this was what was this, like a Instagram post from this was months ago she made this post, but it's resurfacing again.
Well,
just to
it not
remind
only
us,
has it
but yeah.
resurfaced, but there's at least 3 other people that have
They're
gone.
chiming in on it.
They've
yeah.
restated it. Yes.
Well,
Restated
for
it,
the
yeah.
benefits of the people at home, I feel an obligation as the minority on the panel to be an envoy liaison to this news story. Tom,
Sure.
Script, 70s, and Nick. We apparently, if we are to adopt this, you people are not supposed to go and see the movie this weekend.
What do you
Didn't
mean,
plan on
you
it
people?
anyway.
Well, that's how they say it. That's how they phrased it. So hey, don't shoot the diversity messenger. Shoot the diversity message. And here's what's supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen is you people. I gotta do this without laughing. Okay, you people are supposed to buy tickets and then give them away, and you are not supposed to go into the screening, into the movie theater. So I guess what we should do is we should take a quick survey here. Tom, how much can we count on you for tickets for this weekend to buy?
Well, I actually put my response to this out on Twitter.
Oh,
So
yes.
I'll
Let's
share
see.
that here. Here we go. It says, "Remember, white people, we're not supposed to go see Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but buy tickets. So remember to get tickets for Black Adam instead next week."
Well, I'm a
Oh,
Canadian.
that's good.
As a Canadian, I'm very, very polite and respectful. And if someone asks me or tells me not to do something, I usually comply with that. So I'm going to do as I'm asked and not go.
Is that true, Script?
Yeah, it's even more true if you're like me and don't have any money. So
Well, there's that. Plus, I'll be moving house as well, so that gets in the way.
Well, maybe see, but if you're going to be a true ally, Script, you should get a part-time job in maybe roofing or drywall.
I'd like to. I dig construction.
Script is so white they just hate him. Period.
70s, how much? 70s, we're taking up a collection. How much can we count on you for Wakanda tickets for this weekend?
0.0.
Nick?
What kind
That's
of
cutting into his waffle crisp money, man.
Yeah, see, I got waffle crisp and I got
Pizza.
I pizza to get. I actually bought 3
Beer.
pizzas today. Beer. No, I'm not giving money to Wakanda Forever, especially with that bitch boy that poses his name more.
I'm not. So here's the thing. I'm a little bummed out because out of protest, now I was going to go see this movie this weekend, but now I'm so pissed off. I'm pissed off for 2 reasons. Number one is I ordered green earrings and I ordered like a little Wakanda outfit to go cosplay in this thing. Of course, I'd look like
joking, right?
I'm gonna look like 5 pounds worth of chorizo of sausage in a 2-pound bag. But
you'd have to insert an extra N in the title. It'd be Wakanda Forever then.
yeah, but since they've insulted my friends, now I don't want to go see it. Now they can take and shove it.
I was actually quite offended, mildly offended, because the implication was, and there was certainly a line around, let people of color enjoy it safely without you being there. I've never threatened anyone in a cinema in my life. I don't care where they're from or what they look like or Yeah, I was actually, that's quite an offensive statement, I
I
thought.
mean, is that a common issue with white people just coming in and randomly attacking black people at screenings or what? Like,
Exactly, yeah. I was actually that's one of the most ridiculous and offensive statements you could make. But yeah, these people live in a fantasy land, so.
yeah, I almost like that's the line where he's like, "Is this a fucking SNL skit or something?" I mean,
I saw one of the videos because there's some people that are gonna go cosplay, and they have lots of people wearing white in the videos. I even saw one of the people on TikTok say that white people shouldn't show up wearing white because they look all clansy.
Oh,
These people are
God,
so
yeah.
stupid.
I'm being serious. That's not a joke.
I
actually
know
saw
you're
that
serious. I believe you, Mike. It's so stupid. It's hilarious.
They've created these things out of whole cloth. It's just, it's staggering. And this is, I mean, but if you want to alienate 75% of your potential audience on opening weekend, go for it.
I mean, the good news is that for someone like Script, none of this matters. He just has to change his avatar skin color, and he's good.
That's true. See, oh man, sadly, there's still a lot of people who probably don't even know weirdos like her exist. So a lot of people, especially normies, they're just gonna go see Wakanda Forever and they're just gonna take it as a movie, and they're just gonna see it as a movie. And I'm sure there's gonna be a portion of them that are gonna be like, "What? They didn't recast T'Challa?" Because everyone, their mom knows that obviously the actor died. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But they're gonna be like, "What is going on here? They already replaced with Shuri." I have a feeling even if the movie is good, its hype cannot save it. Its hype cannot save it at all because the most memorable thing people remember about the first Black Panther was the marketing and Michael B. Jordan. That's it.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan and the marketing. But other than that, no one talked about anything else in that movie for weeks on end. It was kind of reminds me of how big Avatar was when it came out. Like it did gangbusters numbers, like huge numbers. But then it was just like never to be seen or heard from again. You hear people like, "Oh, I got my 50th viewing in of this movie." Even No Way Home when that came out, that I heard tons of people doing rewatches for that, and people were talking about going to see it again, and people getting groups to go, do group gatherings for it. Black Panther didn't have that, even though it had the gangbusters numbers, and it's just something about this doesn't translate. I can't put my finger on it.
I think they should be more concerned about the misogynist angle than the color angle, because a lot of people may not want to see it without the strong male lead that was Chadwick Boseman.
He should have
been
recasted.
That may be more of an issue than color.
He should have been recasted, and it would be kind of awesome because I don't know what's her name. The girl who plays Shuri. It would be great if she somehow was hailed as the best thing about the movie, because the last thing Marvel wants to acknowledge is her being the best thing about it, considering her let's just say her problems with the company earlier this year.
Earlier this year, it's with she's made choices, smart, ethical choices, not doing a movie because she finds out the origin of the culture it's based on is actually antithetical to her own beliefs. And
Letitia Wright, that's her name. Thank you,
applauded.
Yes, I mean, I really I do respect her positions in that regard. So I genuinely wish her the best, and however this turns out, I do wish Letitia Wright the best.
This is back to the thing we were saying earlier, though, about Chapek said about the audience and catering to the audience. Right out of the gate, there are people trying to bait and insult the potential audience, or order them about, or call them things that they're not. We've seen it so often from Disney and Marvel. So this is something he whether he wants to deal with woke or not, I think this is something he could deal with, which is to say to people, stop baiting your potential audience. Let's welcome people in and not try and drive them away before they've even seen our product.
I agree, 70s, because I think it's like, okay, so Chapek doesn't denounce wokeness. Okay, that's fine. I don't feel like he needs to, but he's got people way below him who are not making the situation any better. And I'm not saying he needs to tell these people, hey, go say, hey, Trump voters, come over here and hang out. It's just don't bring this shit up, period.
But if these people that are saying this are probably not working for Disney or Marvel, but what if someone high up in Marvel, even Disney, Chapek himself said, don't listen to these people, we want you there. Now, wouldn't that be
Where
a
are
great
they?
statement?
Where are they?
Yeah.
It would be
Wouldn't
great,
that
but where are they?
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be a great statement, though? But
Yeah, but it's not gonna happen because that's not how these heads of companies operate.
I know.
Well, then how are you gonna bring them back if you got people still pushing people out from seeing it? Like the people are eventually. This
You're
is gonna
not.
catch on
You're
to more
not. They're not.
normies.
We need this company to fail by their bad choices.
So it's going to need to fail to a point where even bailing out doesn't get them saved.
But it's
Bailouts never save anybody.
No, they just delay the inevitable and make it worse. But they once again, people are talking about something other than whether the movie's any good or not, and it's not our fault. They blame us for talking about that. It's their fault because they've started off on the wrong foot yet again. Instead of making a big welcoming tent and saying we want you all to come in and see this great thing we think we've made, already it's divide, push away, name call, name or call. Anyway, that's I'm feeling a little cynical about this one. But, I mean, is anyone going to talk about how good the movie is now? Because all they'll be talking about is who was there at the opening weekend. We told you not to come. You know.
I still think it's going to do somewhere between 160 and 180, despite this opening weekend. Yeah. I think it's still going to make that number because you got to remember, there's still a lot of people who they like the hype and the marketing of the Black Panther is going to give it decent numbers. It's gonna. That's just I truly believe that.
And people are tweeting about it being rather entertaining and decent.
Yeah, and that's
what
we want.
Spoilers, but they're doing, and it's broad. The broad speaking of terms, which is probably going to track really well. I mean, right now Black Adam has fallen significantly below the expected trend for a movie of its type and release. So, yeah, unless it gets a good strong weekend this weekend, this might be the financial end of Black Adam.
It might be. I mean, I think the only thing I think keywords think can save Black Adam is maybe the overseas market, because obviously it's doing much better outside of North America. Because I looked at numbers, I'm like, okay, clearly the North America is hurting.
Domestic's at 80 million and international's at 75. So it's not doing better.
Maybe I looked at it wrong. So
yeah.
So Script, you've heard, or I haven't seen any of the initial reviews for Wakanda Forever. You're hearing there's some good things.
They say that it's emotional. You feel for the obvious loss of T'Challa, and they do say that Namor is a very impactful villain. That's about as detailed as I've seen, but it's been pretty consistent and not with those words. Like that's the other part too. I thought, oh, is this going to be bot related? But as I kept on scrolling through, there's definitely unique ways of expressing similar things. But the patterns that I saw was like, it's emotional. Namor's a impactful villain. No other spoilers. That's about as detailed as I got. Okay. But we'll have to wait and see until it comes out.
I think it'll have a bit of a drop off as well. Sanders saying that in the chat. I think the drop off on most movies now seems to be substantial in the second week. Top Gun excluded, perhaps.
Well, after Wakanda Forever, and there's Avatar, which is pretty much a whole other month. Is there any other competition for Wakanda Forever? Because Wakanda does have that going for that. It doesn't have any major competition that I know of. Am I missing another movie that could probably give a run for its money?
No, there's nothing. It's Black Adam.
Nothing.
It's Black Adam, and it's this, and Black Adam's already failing and falling. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But let's get through. We got some super chats that have stacked up. Let me knock some of these out real quick. Want to say Night of Snake, Midnight Sage. Who would you like to see casted as the MCU Fantastic Four, X-Men, and each of their villains? Would you want to use the past actors? Woof, that's a thick question. Script, go.
Anson Mount is Mr. Fantastic.
Ooh,
I don't care about
I
the
like
rest.
that.
As for X-Men, give me a. You know what? Tom Cruise would make a great Wolverine because he's almost the right height and he's bulky. Like it.
Oh, yeah, she would be.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, my. Script is actually onto something with that.
Yeah. What's his name? The guy that everybody wants to fan cast, Krasinski, for Mr. Fantastic. I think he'd be better as Doctor Doom. And yeah, that's about all I got right now. I mean, X-Men is a huge team. That's too many to cast. Fantastic Four, I could care less about Johnny Storm. He's an idiot. He's supposed to be an idiot. Whatever. And
He's
Sue Storm.
my idiot, Script.
I think,
He's my idiot.
Matthew Perry could play him.
Ooh, no.
Edgy number one for five.
Yeah.
Edgy number one for five. Oh, you're back. I was starting to read super chats.
No, go ahead. Keep going if you want.
All right, edgy number one for what is that? 5 British pounds. Chaos at Lucasfilm. What WTF is going on? I hope you can get Cameron Pasha on to help us decipher the craziness, Tom.
Tom's going back to his spaghetti.
We can try. He's really busy with working, but yeah, I'm sure we'll have him on again here real soon.
For Pilgrim photography for $2, are Disney ESG funds tranched? That's not exactly the way it works. What happens then is that you have ESG, you have investment funds that embrace ESG, and then they buy stock in huge blocks, and the stock that they buy in those huge blocks, they just sit on it, and because they have such a huge amount of stock, they then get board seats, and that helps them govern the way the companies are run. Christian Corlejo for $2. What kind of toys do kids seem to like the most?
Today?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If they're not electronic or video games, the few kids who actually still are into toys, dinosaurs are a big thing because those kind of kids are usually into more hands-on things, and you know, they're the kids that are probably going to grow up to be like a little bit more like out there working in the dirt and all that kind of shit. But no, like, yeah, that were probably the bigger toys because Legos are still huge.
Peppa Pigs. I see a lot of Peppa Pig toys at a lot of the children's birthday parties.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of the younger kids, yeah, those kind of things. But like action figures and stuff like that, our age group is actually the more primary consumer of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have
kids know as far as toys, cars are still probably pretty big too. Like my kid growing up was still into cars and stuff, so Hot Wheels and all that business. Yeah. Tim
Scorpion for $2 says, rumor has it WB's backing Herd. What's up with that?
I've not heard. Yeah, I've not heard anything to that angle. I haven't heard that they've any definitive news on it, but I've heard enough to know that they're pretty much probably going to replace her in Aquaman 2 at this point. But
that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Joe Pet 87 for $5. One thing Chapek said recently was adults won't want to watch another animated movie, but rather something for them. That's so detached from reality.
See, it is because the old metric and guideline for a family film is that kids were going to want to see it, but parents are going to have to take them. So we have to at least make it enjoyable for parents as well. I don't know if that's still the axiom, the mindset.
Well, there's become a further line between what's a kid's movie in quotation, what's a family movie, like you're talking about Script. Because
there's
like
no
Disney
such thing as a kid's movie. Like that's the thing. The family movie has to be a kid's movie because
that's the
parents
thing is
usually tend to watch things with their kids. Ideally, they tend to.
I know what you're saying, Script, but that's not the way the world works anymore.
Well, what's a kid's movie that's only a kid's movie that parents can't watch?
Oh, there's let's see here. I don't know because I don't watch them, but nowadays I have no idea. But back in the day, like my kid would watch like a lot of stuff that I would necessarily never sit with him to watch. I mean, I would make sure he was watching stuff that wasn't like violence.
There are a lot
of like PBS Kids and stuff like that. So any of those kind of things, to me, that stuff there was nothing, because I would sit there with him once in a while, but there was nothing in that for me. Like there would be for like when
Tom,
my dad
you didn't
would
love
grow up
Peppa
watching
Pig?
stuff. No, none of that kind of crap.
You're talking about
it's
like
too,
PBS shows like Barney and the Teletubbies and things of that
yeah,
nature.
very young oriented type shit. And yeah, there's not even any remote underlying jokes for adults, right? Like, as opposed to when he would watch some, like even SpongeBob, even though I'm not a huge fan, at least that you could say, okay, there's clearly 2 levels to the show, right? That I consider family entertainment because you have, like you just said, there's something there that the kids are there for, but the parents can also get some enjoyment out of it one way or the other. So that's something that a family as a whole, or it's just something that's a more wholesome story that it may not necessarily be a kid's story or whatever, but like, or at least directed towards kids, but like the type of movies that Disney used to make back in the day, the more family oriented stuff. But I get what you're saying, and it used to be that way, Script, but nowadays there is more of a separation in what adults can watch with their kids compared to what it used to be. Ask Andre; he'd probably have a better grasp on that because he's got younger kids now. But I remember him complaining about certain things, but he didn't mind certain things like Paw Patrol, for instance, because at least there's some elements to that he can, he's, oh, at least it's a story and it's this, that, and the other, and it's not just noise and music and games and whatnot.
Adam Wolford for $5. They still haven't said anything about the Alien series for the streaming service or any other Fox's license. Where's the Fox movies or series?
They've been really they're working on it and we know it's coming, but yeah, I've complained about how they haven't really utilized Fox at all. And we keep calling it Fox. It's not Fox. That's the stupid part. It's 20th Century. They dropped
Fox is gone. Yeah.
Yep. Nikki D for $5. I'm guessing BP2 will open between 165 to 185 million with a second weekend percentage drop of 60 to 64%. Thoughts? Would Disney consider that a success?
Yes, because they'll spin it. They're never
They
going to
would.
admit it. They're not going to say, "Oh man, this failed." Like even with Lightyear, they were still trying to put a spin on it, even though we all know it didn't do well. They still try to like gaslight people into thinking that it was somehow a monstrous success. And if it didn't work, they'll just, hey, look at the numbers that it did on Disney Plus. They're not going to say that they did bad.
I think Nikki D's probably spot on there. That's the numbers I would have said.
I could see that. Yeah,
That's actually a pretty good consistent track record. I mean, yeah, I think 65 will probably be due to the fact there's a lack of T'Challa. However, if it ends up being a good movie, that'll probably be 52 to 60% drop off.
What was the final take on the first Black Panther again? Was it a billion?
That was
and
like
a half?
200. Well, no, the overall is like 1.3 billion overall.
1.3 billion. Okay.
It started off with around 200 something opening weekend, and I think it had President's Day that Monday, so it had a nice big President's Day push. Plus, the general marketing around that was really impressive. I'll admit, I was very impressed with the marketing itself around it. So it had great legs for many weeks. But yet somehow many people couldn't tell you what they remembered from it. That was the odd part. But it did well somehow.
I remember Bucky.
Mr. Tickletrunk.
Tickle Trunk. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Says shit's gonna change. Valiant Renegade 2022. Yeah, I hope she's right. I want to believe it, but I also see where you guys are coming from. Like, I don't see the shit. And while I'm here, Mikey went and got some memberships handed out. Thank you so much. Tex Florida, Fat Elvis, Ricky Bobby, Atma Manish, and Captain Palsy all got memberships. Thank you for that.
And for those that are sticking around for the show, there might be more coming if you stick around.
Ooh. And then we have a member chat from LQ3 member who says, not looking forward to Black Panther or anything Marvel. Well, that's understandable. We'll have to see if the general audience feels the same way you do, though. Come this next, because it doesn't actually come out till next weekend, right?
Is it
November
already?
Comes out November 11th, so 2 weeks.
11th.
11th.
Yeah,
Okay, 11th.
So not this weekend, but the weekend after, yeah. And then we got Jack White, or is it 2 weeks out?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. No,
2 weeks, you're right,
Tom.
Script. Yeah, thank you, sorry. Jack White says, did you guys see the announcement for the remake of the original Witcher game? And Mike, you just won a lifetime supply of Elf merchandise. Congratulations.
To go with all the other Elf merchandise he's already got.
And what did they do for the remake of the Witcher game? Did they make, what's his face, a chick now?
Well, the keywords, I'm a very close follower of that stuff. The keywords were modern reimagining. So
Oh, that's always good.
Yes, make of that what you will. Now, I have no problem with them remaking the games from the Witcher 1 and 2 games and using Unreal Engine 5 or whatever they're talking about doing.
Why can't they
But
just
then-
remaster them?
Yeah, but now they talked about remaking them from the ground up, i.e., completely rewriting the story to
Why?
change it completely. Yes, why? So
To tear another franchise down with their
Yes.
creative bankruptcy.
And CD Projekt Red is now a huge recipient of ESG money, and everything they've done since that announcement has pointed towards the destruction of what they've already achieved. So,
I need to
All
get
I
me
know
some
is
of this ESG money.
right? No
uh,
shit.
yes.
All I know is I found a video game where I get to kill annoying teenagers as Freddy fucking Krueger or Michael Myers or Pinhead or Leatherface, or if I'm in the mood to be nice, I can be Ash, which is about as nice as I get.
So I don't hold out great hopes for CD Projekt Red's future output.
Yeah, but
unfortunately.
anyway, like I don't mind. Like I've got the Grand Theft Auto where they remastered. They're the same fucking games, 3, 4, whatever, or not 3. It's Grand Theft Auto 3, San Andreas, and Vice City.
Yeah.
Like, why can't they just do that kind of shit?
Well, I don't think they really need to do anything for Witcher 3. It's the first 2 games. But
Well,
they're-
no.
yeah.
But my point is, why do they need to rebuild the games? Why change the games? Just give me an HD upgrade. Or
I see what
I
you're
know they're
saying,
already in
yeah,
HD, but I mean
yeah.
a new reskin. That's the word I was looking for. Of these older games. That's fine enough with me in most cases.
And they're not. Yeah, and that's what they're not talking about doing. So
Because it seems like they forget that part of the game isn't so much, just having the game as it is. It's also the gameplay, right? Like that's why a lot of gamers go for the arcade version if they can, because they want that experience.
with a series like The Witcher, people fundamentally are attracted to it because of the story and the characters, as well as the gameplay.
That's a little
but it's
later
this-
on, yeah.
Yeah, the
So that's
story
where,
and the characters make it. So if you take that away, it doesn't matter how good or bad the gameplay is.
granted,
Anyway.
you're right. Like that's a game that's probably more about the story and all that kind of shit. And again, that's where I question my going, why are you changing it? Just do a sequel. Do something new. Do another.
Well, they're
version
working
of
on
it,
that
whatever.
anyway. I mean, they've got about 5 different projects, some of which are direct sequels to the first 3 Witcher games.
I'm
and some
glad
of
I'm
which
not
are
a gamer.
spin-offs. Yeah.
I mean, I play once in a while, but I'm just so glad I'm not.
It is an infinitely complex, muddled experience.
I get irate when they just fuck one little thing up in a movie transfer. Can you imagine?
Oh, you'd lose your mind.
Like I would probably.
You would
need
sit there with
therapy.
the controller. You'd be like, "What the hell? This game isn't even finished."
That's what I do because I'm just not very good.
Yeah, so I just discovered Dead by Daylight.
like
I
it.
did, and I've won twice now. Once as a survivor and once as a killer. Actually, I think I won like maybe twice as a survivor, but I usually play Ash as a survivor. Deleted Scene says, we done fucked up. Disney, Marvel, Amazon 2022. Yeah, I don't know if they're really realizing that, but I'm sure they're feeling it. Ironcaster says, I'll be too busy watching One Piece Red instead. Yeah, we watched the trailer for that the other day and got pinged. Mexican Iron Man says, Gonzalo, fuck YouTube free mayor for golly. Member for 12 months at the Congo level. Says Congo. Congo. Then we got Sander Hammerslag, who's been a member for 2 months or 3 months actually, because that thing's always screwed up. Says Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special will be a hit for Disney, not Wakanda Forever or Avatar 2. I think you're right. The response that I've seen so far for the Christmas special comparison, I think you have a point there. Jack White says, I watched a Viva Frey Robert Barnes live stream a few weeks ago, and Barnes talked about a group of pension funds and investors that were planning to sue establishment companies or state companies. Which one? I'm assuming I'm going to leave this one up to you, Mike. I don't know if you heard anything about that. Mike.
ESG, he meant not EST.
Yes.
Oh, you mean ESG? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they're There's a group. They're not that big yet. There's not a lot of momentum yet, but it's starting. And the one fund that's taking the lead is a relatively small fund with not a lot of cash, comparatively speaking, when you compare it to BlackRock. But some signs of positive initiatives is better than no signs of positive initiatives.
Yeah, and there are a number of states in the US that are part of that, are they not? Or at least in parallel are doing the same thing. Just removing investments from BlackRock, etc., because of the ESG thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Jack White. This is a very generous super chat. Then we got Alex Kurtzman is an unemployable little bitch. Says, I actually live in Africa. It's a misogynistic society. I just don't see a female hero replacing a hero doing well.
That's what I was
Not
wondering.
just there, dude, but like Andre's been predicting now for the last couple weeks that just black men in general are not going to gravitate to this film. And we're seeing the pattern of needing 2-3 women to replace every male hero in this universe now. It's getting kind of redonkulous. But I'll be interested to see how it plays out over there. But 70s, it sounds like your dinner time.
It is my dinner time. You get to my age, you got to keep it regular.
Yeah, or you're not regular.
Wow.
Right. Well, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure, and I'm packing up moving this weekend, so I'll probably
so good luck.
I'll touch a little bit. Yeah, thanks. But the new studio at the other end will eventually be wonderful. So
can't wait to check it out.
Indeed. Enjoy the rest of your evening, folks, and I'll enjoy everybody in the chat. Have a great night.
Well, I hope you're listening because I think you'll appreciate what I've done for the next segment here. I was really hoping you'd be around for it. So
I will.
You know
listen.
what? Why don't we just show it real quick and then we'll
give you 5 more minutes.
Super chats. Yeah, we can do that. Because the main topic of today, we'll get back to super chats, guys. I appreciate it. I'm really sorry, but I wanted to get, because this is going to cost me the entire show anyway. So trust me, you guys are needed. I did this because I saw this video last night and some idiot said, "Oh, that's some Chad behavior out of Kevin Feige."
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, so as I pointed out earlier in the show, before we got into super chats and Andre and Valiant left and teased, last night Wakanda Forever had its premiere, and we've been seeing social media reactions to it. It should be the talk of the town, right, guys? No, instead, everybody's talking about James Gunn in DC, and Kevin Feige himself was asked on the red carpet last night his reaction to this, and that is the major headline in every Hollywood news outlet. Not Wakanda Forever, but that. So, for those who may not have seen the video, here's the quick question. This is what's taking over the news right now in entertainment.
I'd like to ask you about James Gunn and going to DC.
Yes.
No, I can't forget this evening or your face as you were leaving, but I guess that's just the way the story goes.
Well, he has got a lot of work to do for Marvel between now and May, which he's well aware of. But after that, I'll be first in line to see anything he does.
Nilsson's staking out every penny for this episode. I don't care. And it kind of goes on from there. It just keeps going. Hey, I'm going to pay for it anyway, goddammit.
Covered up Jennifer Holland's face.
Yeah, I put it over his wife's face, yes.
Yeah.
Unapologetically script, I don't care.
That's awesome, mate. Yeah, good one. The saddest song ever written. So it's written and recorded by
the best version too.
Originally.
Yeah, but this is my version. This is the version.
Nilsson nailed it though. He did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
wow.
That's the only thing that could have made that better is if he'd said, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
It started with that, but I'm like, you know what? That's too easy.
Yeah, it is. It's too cliche. It's too cliche.
We gotta go to another angle with this. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like you just said, the saddest song ever.
That's
Boom!
right.
Nilsson nailed it. Yes.
No, you nailed it, mate. Good one.
No. That's all Harry Nilsson. I love Harry Nilsson, and that's his crescendo there. That's my answer to. You can't use sad Affleck music on Kevin Feige either. You
No,
can't do that.
no. Well,
Well, Feige
good
was
one,
wearing a
mate,
Rick and
yes.
Morty hat in that. He wasn't wearing a Wakanda or Marvel. Freaking Rick and Morty. Jeez.
Yeah, it's actually surprising that he's not wearing a Wakanda Forever hat because he usually is all about promoting.
Is he dating
current-
Gal or
was
something? or-
Possibly
Marvel
told.
product.
No, he was told he couldn't wear one the first weekend.
That's a
Right, on
perfect
that note-
exit, man.
You almost
Okay,
made me
guys.
spit out my rock star.
Right. See you soon, guys. Take care.
See you, 70s.
Oh,
That was
Lord.
amazing.
No, I know it's not Air Supply stuff, but that song is known to make grown men cry in certain times. So I'm gonna have to post that shits on Twitter.
Well, I mean,
That was-
you want to do like I'm So Lost Without You. That's another version, right? So
You know,
Probably
Yeah.
funny that James Gunn initially getting fired from Disney was the best thing that, in retrospect, happened to Warner Brothers. For DC, at least. For DC. Not Warner
It's what
Brothers,
got
but for
us
DC.
here.
Yeah,
but it's
that's
what
not
got us
even
here.
like,
it's not
if he-
Feige's fault and it's not Iger's fault. It's all Alan Horn, and he's over at Warner
Yeah.
Brothers.
Oh,
Which is hilarious, yeah, right?
that's
Like
funny.
Feige can't really be angry at this point because he's like, it's not his fault. Like he didn't make the decision. He begged and got Gunn back to do the last two things he's doing. But I mean the attitude that was left as a result of what Alan Horn did burned Gunn hard, and he's not going back. So that's
Oh.
you kind of feel sorry for Feige because I think
Actually,
all of
that
his
is
eggs were
a-
in Gunn's basket, and when Gunn left, that's phase 4 for you.
Maybe
Yeah, and I
Paul's
guess
right.
that is a Wakanda Forever hat. Paulie's right. It's the
Is it?
headpiece. Yeah, I just looked again. Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
it's hard. It was like bright portal,
Yeah.
Rick and Morty green.
I see what you thought it was. Yeah, but no, that's what it was. Yeah, it was the.
Because green, that's totally a Wakanda Black Panther color, right?
No, it's for the
It's
For the
Namor,
guy
I
who
guess, right?
poses
Namor
as
stuff,
Namor.
Yeah.
Oh, that was. I'm sorry. I pulled that together pretty quick. But yeah, so that's the talk of the town right now, and you clearly know how I feel about that. Like it's Feige, like you said, he's sad. He knows this is, and then what's funny is he's got to add that little jab of he's still got shit to do at the house, you know.
Right. Yeah, just because you're moving out and you're going with him or her or whatever however this.
Don't forget the kid I had with you that's still at home.
He's still got kids, you know.
And don't forget we've got a court date that we got to resolve before May.
Well,
Yeah.
if anything, this makes Kevin Feige now has one less relationship to deal with. Because as I said many moods back, now he's just got his Sony relationship with Spider-Man. So, and that's a mother and father that will fight over their kid from now until eternity.
Well, and here's the funny thing, and I pointed this out on Mr. H's stream a little bit ago here when I was there.
Mhm.
People are looking at it like, okay, yeah, it's Kevin Feige. He's the guy who, you know, he lost one of his directors. He went over, jumped ship to DC.
Mhm.
He's commenting on his counterpart. James Gunn is now his peer. Like they are the same person, basically. James Gunn is DC's Kevin Feige.
Yes.
So
But
he's
with the-
basic. Like you got to realize that this is the guy that I got started in this stuff to begin with, and now and Script's right. It's sad because for on Feige's part, it's no fault of his own.
Mhm.
You know, he can't really kick himself in the ass
If
over
anything,
this.
James Gunn was going to be Kevin Feige's partner.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
the cosmic side. He was
Until
supposed to be
Alan
the cosmic
Horn screwed
stuff.
it up for everybody.
So yeah, so I can see that. Like I know I'm picking fun at Kevin right now, but like in honesty, I do feel a little bad for him. Like I that and Script's 100% right. This was meant to be. They were supposed to be together to do this Marvel Phase 4 thing together, and now this has happened. This is the result of somebody overreacting and not making the proper phone calls, and now this is what it's gotten us. This is what woke bullshit has gotten us, right? Like that's really what it boils down to. If this was a court case, that's who would be liable. Woke bullshit. On both sides.
So Alan
So,
Horn
yeah.
fired this guy?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Alan
He
Horn's the
jumped
Alan
on the
Horn's
gun and
problem.
he reacted quickly, swiftly, and that was his excuse, was that he felt that something had to be done quickly because of the reaction.
And he had the authority to do that on his own.
Actually, yes.
unilaterally?
At that time, he did.
He did, but the other part too is that Iger and Feige were very, very upset.
Yes.
I mean, that just blows me away that he would have that kind of authority to take out someone like that of that import.
Well, it's arrogant because he came in after Marvel Studios had already been created, and he really shouldn't have had any purview over the direction or infrastructure of that company.
Right.
Yeah. And I will concede to the chat that, yes, I could have used Landslide by Fleetwood as well, but
Oh my god.
I don't need his crying chat here, man. Like that's more of a father's daughter song, right? Like this needed to be a lover lost song.
Wow.
But yes, I thought it through and I made my choice and I'm sticking with it.
Well, what do you think of his body language? Like I thought
That's what I'm saying. That big huge inhale before he answered.
Yeah, like what was that? What was that about?
Well,
I think that's basically he's just thinking I have to kill Alan Horn. Like that's
well, I think Mr. H is right. You read his body language, he really wants to get out of that question. He does not want to answer it right now. He probably is just hearing this news himself. That's probably how fresh it is to him. He has not really had a chance to articulate his thoughts well enough. Like Andre thinks it was pre-prepared, but I'm like, yeah, to a point, because I'm sure he knew going into this, he probably just heard the news, and so he had his agent or publicist, whoever was nearby, help him come up with if I get asked this shit, what do I say? You know,
actually, I don't think you'd even need that because one of the
he may not have. You're right, script.
One of the common things, even in Hollywood, is that if you shepherd someone and they go off to do something else, you always want to be in their good books and you always want to compliment them. And you're always excited to see that the competition is. And that's what Kevin Feige said. I just think the body language is the regret of the fact that he's no longer with Marvel. He's had a failure of Phase 4 because of the absence of James Gunn. And it literally is all because Alan Horn. And I think he's just going through all the series of events in that one breath. And he's like, that son of a bitch just shut his mouth or gave me a call. We could have avoided all.
Well, and I think there's more to
the last
that
5
too.
years would have been gone.
there's a little bit in the words he's saying, because you're right, script. Everything he's saying, for the most part, 90% of it is the typical Hollywood thing you say when somebody is now just as powerful as you in Hollywood, basically, in so many words. I'm not going to pretend that James Gunn is nearly as impossible as Kevin Feige. I'm just saying that as a general.
He's in a very authoritative position within a studio. Right. Yeah.
But here's the thing. The other line that sticks out to me is that 10% is when he had to point out, like we just said, you still got kids at home, motherfucker. Like, you still got shit to do for me for the next 6 months. There was something in the shift of his voice.
I don't think that's so much a message to
Gunn. I know.
I think that's a message to the public. Is like, he's still with us for the next 8 months. Like, we still have more Gunn stuff over here if you're excited about Gunn.
That getting back to my initial point, and this is what I was going to say, script, I agree with you. It's part of that, but more of it. So I think he's more upset. The part that he's upset about right now. Yeah. Part of it's losing Gunn to DC, but he knew that was going to happen anyway. This is not new news. James Gunn said months ago, he's not coming back to Disney after Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yep. What he's upset about right now is what got me to this whole point to begin with. Nobody is talking about Wakanda Forever. Nobody is talking about Marvel. This week, Kevin Feige was bent over and Supermaned twice. And this is a third time in red carpet in front of people. Basically, he was asked about that violation. That's kind of where we're sitting here. That's the way I see this right now, is because you're right, script. As far as the whole thing goes, he can't blame anybody but Alan Horn. Mm-hmm. As far as the other part goes, yeah, I don't think he's so much like trying to remind him you got kids at home. We're just joking at that part. The other part is that I think he's pissed. Nobody is talking about Marvel and Wakanda Forever on the level that everybody's talking about James Gunn, DC, Superman, and even though Black Adam may not be showing it right now in the box office, we're going to see in the next 2 weeks here how that movie plays out in comparison to how Black Panther plays out. Mm-hmm. And the thing is Black Panther has a higher expectation on it than Black Adam does. Black Adam has already kind of beat some of those expectations. All it had to do, like I said before, was play better than any other rock movie has played before, which it has done. So at this point, it just has to make its money back. The problem you have here is that Wakanda Forever, like, because Nick asked earlier, how much did the first one make? I think it was $1.5 billion.
1.3. Black Panther did worldwide.
Okay.
1.3.
I knew it was over $1 billion. This movie has to make at least $1 billion, or that's going to look like something's wrong, because even if it comes close to that, it's still not $1 billion, right?
Yeah,
That's
it
the
has to
same
hit $1
thing.
billion or cross it. That's its
Yep.
metric.
And it can lose that 0.3, but it cannot not hit $1 billion. That's the big thing.
That'd
I
be
will say this: they are going
weird.
to take a victory lap if Wakanda Forever ends up netting more overall than Black Adam.
That's
It's
true,
gonna make
but
it no matter what.
that'll be basically like,
That's their low-hanging fruit goal, really.
exactly. Thank you. That I was going to say, that's like a low-hanging fruit. And if it has a big, strong opening weekend, they're going to boast that, right? And hide behind that.
The only black you should be seeing is Black Panther. Wakanda
Yeah.
Forever.
You know, with Black Panther, it'd be weird to say. Like, and I'm trying to imagine the phrasing of it, in the future, or 3-4 weeks from now. A few months is what I meant to say. I'm having a hard time imagining a world where Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness outgrows the Black Panther movie. And don't get me wrong, I growing up as a comic fan, I was far more into Doctor Strange than I was Black Panther. But I won't deny the success of that first movie. It's weird to think though that could be a possibility. That could actually be a possibility, because Strange did like what, 950 worldwide, 950. So it did better than Love and Thunder, and you would have expected it to have been the other way around. So I just imagine doing less than that, because Black Panther is supposed to be one of the big boys now with what was supposed to be, the Caps, Iron Mans, and Thors. I'm just having a hard time believing that
It is one of the
might
highest
outgrow
grossing Marvel movies, and that's the thing, is Wakanda Forever has a lot more expectations going into it than Black Adam did. Black Adam's technically a spin-off of Shazam.
Oh yes.
And Shazam didn't even barely make its money back. So yeah, I find this an interesting thing that this little blurb has taken over the news. I'm not surprised, but I find it kind of hilarious at the same time. Do I wish failure on Marvel? No, but what I want to happen to Marvel is I want them to see what they have gotten to and why they're here. They'll never learn those lessons correctly, but the more failures they have, the more of a chance we have of things getting back into form, right? The less success they have with this replacing all the heroes with 3 or 4 other female characters, as long as that falls flat on its face continually, they will have to make some kind of shift, whether Chapek pushes for it or not, going back to our earlier discussion. So again, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's where I'm at. I'm not rooting for Marvel to fail or Feige to fail or feel bad. Sure, we're having some fun at his expense right now, but at the end of the day, I just want good Marvel movies. I just want good Marvel shows. I want good stories. I want to get back to where we were at the height of the Marvel universe. And I know that's nearly impossible to ever expect to happen again. But that's the thing, is if we're getting that high level of quality of entertainment, almost every film for nearly 8 years, almost 9 years in a row, then we should be able to get at least decent stuff here and there. And when Spider-Man No Way Home is the only highlight in the last 2 years out of Marvel, 2 years. So I'm still, actually, it might even be 3. I'm trying to stretch back and think, because even Endgame is not quite a movie I would consider great. So when did Infinity War come out? 2018?
Yes, 2018. That was 3 months after Black Panther, with Endgame
And then
doing 1 year later to the almost 364 days later.
Because I'll be the first to admit that Far From Home is a mixed bag too. So you've got a situation here where I'm stretching back to think all the way back to basically, even Ant-Man and Wasp was a letdown. So
I liked it.
I was going to say,
we're focusing on the wrong thing. Let me tell you what I want. Who wants to ask me what I want, Tom?
What do you want, Mike?
What do you want, Mike?
Want
besides
James
tons
Gunn.
of chicks.
Well, Mexican Iron Man doesn't have a problem getting that. But let me tell you what I do have a problem getting. I want James Gunn to call my script doctor, and I'm telling you, I've said it on the show before, I'm going to say it again. By next Friday, if script gets hired today, by next Friday, my entire DC universe is fixed. Right, script?
Ideally.
Monday, you do Batman.
Like what I have to say.
Monday, you do Batman. Tuesday, you do Superman. Wednesday, you do Green Lantern. Thursday, you do Wonder Woman. Friday, you can do whatever you want with the rest of them. And Saturday, you rest, and I'm happy.
Well, I can fix the Flash on Friday.
Okay, you fix the Flash on Friday. And on Sunday, script rests. And we send him for a day spot because he fixed my DC universe.
Well, and
I
that's
make
the
the
thing.
Flash
yeah.
so good that Mexican Iron Man actually likes the character.
I hate the fucking Flash. I hate that character.
Wow.
Look, anybody in the chat, you guys think I hate Alf? You have no idea. I hate Flash 100 times
He
more
hates
than Alf.
Flash. That's what Clobby's always fucking with him with it for.
Yeah, everybody in the chat thinks I hate Alf. Whew, you ain't seen nothing yet. I hate
You
Flash.
hate both Barry Allen and Wally.
I hate them all.
Wow.
Wow, a superhero that runs fast. Mexican here, not impressed. Hello.
So then Speedy Gonzalez isn't a great character to you?
Hold on. That's because Speedy Gonzalez is the true Flash.
He's the what?
The true Flash.
The true Flash.
Yeah.
Did he technically exist before the Flash?
This iteration, I don't know. Not in general, no. Because Speedy's one of the latter Looney Tunes.
Right.
I don't care. So he's on Looney Tunes, but not Merry Melodies.
No, he would not have been around then. He's like late.
Yeah.
Like we're talking late 40s.
It doesn't matter.
#50s.
Hashtag Speedy is my Flash. Hashtag. Look,
I think you're just biased for mice.
Well, maybe. Fucking Bambino. Bambino went chasing them.
So I say you like little dogs.
Yeah. He brought a lizard back the other night on the patio. It was fucking disgusting. It was so disgusting. He walked out.
He wanted to show you.
He walked
Dad,
right
what
up with
he
the
got.
backyard. He had this freaking green lizard hanging out of both sides of his mouth.
He was proud of it.
Bro, it was so disgusting.
Although you probably should get. I don't think they're supposed to be too good for animals.
Well, he didn't eat it. He just had it running
It's a
around
fucking
like
toy.
Oh, it's awful. It's so.
I would just be worried because it's like they carry like okay.
Back to script, fixing my DC universe.
Yeah, but before we get back to super chats here, was there anything else you guys had to add to this Kevin Feige business? Because I don't want to poke too much more fun at him anymore. I just found it more interesting. It wasn't even going to be the main topic today, actually. The next topic,
I think competition
the Chapek thing was going to be.
I think competition is good. I'd rather have Gunn outside over at Warner Brothers and Kevin Feige over here, I think it was Nick said this the other day, or somebody said this on the Tuesday show. I heard competition's king.
Well, it worked. It made Spider-Man Far From No Way Home a better movie.
Right. We need competition. Yeah. Sorry, Tom. Go ahead. I interrupted your super chat.
No. I just wanted to make sure if you guys were done talking about Feige before we moved on to super chats. But
yeah. Hashtag higher script. Let's get it trending.
Let's get that trending. Agreed. No. I hope we could have a competitive market, because that might be the thing where Feige's like, okay, he's got to change who he has working for him, or someone looks above him, like, okay, we got to place Feige at someone who wants to compete against Gunn. So competition is great. I mean, I remember in the mid 2000s, Marvel and DC comic book wise were both doing very well, and the fans ultimately won from that. You guess, and this is something I even had a conversation with Gary Nerdrotic about, because he actually worked at a comic shop when that was happening. That was a thing. And it's such a cool thing to say, hey, this book's doing great. No, this book is doing great. I would love to live in a world where that's a problem, rather than how intersectional this is going to be.
all right, well, let's read these super chats. Jack White says, P.S. James Lindsay was on Tim Pool's In Real Life show a few weeks ago, and he talked about how these ESG companies take money from the little guy investor to pay for these woke vanity projects. Well, yeah, that's what all these fundraisers and all that stuff is for, right, Mike?
No, what he's talking about. Well, yes, but hold on. Here's what he's talking about. What he's talking about with this guy on the Tim Pool. He's been on many shows, not just Tim Pool.
Okay.
But what he basically talks about is you take someone like, let's just say Nick or Script or me or you or whoever, and we've got, say, a 401k that's got 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 grand in it, 1,000, whatever, an IRA. Okay, so these companies then use that cash in these investment funds, aggregate it to the tune of hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, and then they go and buy stock. See, we have these investment funds where we're just getting index funds, but they take all of our capital and they go and buy the stock of these companies and implement their woke ass policies. So in essence, all of us who have investment funds, whether it's an IRA, SEP, 401k, any of these types of retirement vehicles, whatever, it's essentially our money that these woke ass venture funds are using in order to finance their ESG.
That is some bullshit, dude.
Yeah,
wow,
it's
that's
pretty scandalous.
nuts.
and
I
it's never
figured it was
talked
just
about.
from like donations and all that
No.
kind of stuff. That's what I was talking about.
No, it's much more insidious.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you for that, Jack White. And
The
then
more
we,
you know.
oh yeah, I can give you that. I got that here. That was a more you know moment. Thank you. That's a good idea. Then we got Waltman here who says CD want that Resident Evil 2 remake levels of money. Yeah. Guess so. Gonzalo Bergali says, why don't they remaster all those TV CGIs? Well, that would require a lot of work, unfortunately. Not just work, but also money, compatibility issues. You'd have to. I'm sure we have it here somewhere, but we've talked to Robert Meyer Burnett a couple times now about the work he did on Star Trek Next Generation Blu-rays, or the HD masters of those, let's say, because they were primarily used for streaming anyway now. But point being, even then, he talks about the extensive amount of work that went into rebuilding those shows, and that's basically what you would have to do. You'd have to rebuild everything from scratch, and not every show is going to have the fan base to support the kind of money and effort that's going to go into that. B, sometimes they may not even have the ability to do that because depending on what they have to work with for masters. So yeah, those are the two main reasons why they don't. But I think we'll start to see more up converts, which I'm not a big fan of. But didn't they just redo? What was it? It's on HBO Max. Is it Battlestar Galactica or one of those shows?
Well, you mean Babylon 5?
Babylon 5. I mean, sorry, Babylon 5. Thank you.
They didn't really redo it. They just kind of
Up-converted
it's just an upscale. It's cleaned up. It looks, yeah.
And as far as like they came to this deal with, like, a good example of this kind of a situation is when they redid the director's edition of Star Trek motion picture recently. They went back to the original effects that they had back in the day, and they had to reconfigure them for 4K, and they had to basically redo them because you had to add so much more detail in comparison to a 480, 480p picture output compared to a 4K 2160p.
Well, they had the original negatives of the mats and all those paintings.
Yes, so they redid all that stuff. Yeah,
they just had
put
to
it back together.
re-photograph them.
What
and they
I'm
also
talking
had all
about,
of Robert Weiss's notes as well, so they followed those notes that he wanted to.
But what I'm talking about is the shots they had that they actually did for that version when they worked with Weiss, where they actually did CGI stuff for extensions and for additional stuff, like when they showed VEIGE and all that stuff. There's some brand new shots that they did with CGI, and they were basically stuck in 480p because of how they were rendered back then. So they went back to those original files, and they could convert them to 4K. But what happened was when they looked at them, they're like, yeah, but they look like shit. They look like a 480 resolution.
What you're saying?
Image.
CGI in '79?
No, they did this for the director's edition in 2000 and what is it, 2 or 3 or 4?
Oh,
whatever it was.
okay, all right.
Yeah, 2001 or whatever it was. Yeah, no, they actually did a bunch of CGI shots. And so for this version, this new version that just came out here this last year, they went back to those files, but they had to basically redo a bunch of them because they weren't the resolution wasn't there for 4K. So they took those as a basis and then they built on top of them. But yes, you're right. Otherwise, they went back to what stuff that worked just fine without having to redo anything. They recomposited everything, so those look amazing. So like the old model shots and stuff like that, they're all recomposited in a computer, so they're not done optically now like they were back in the day. So you don't have all the
original optics are just shot. They're just done. Yeah, they're just combined with the computer stuff instead of like the layering and the photographing, and then and then doing all the lab fees for development fees were saved in costs.
Well, and the problem with that is when you look at all those things you have, like, so you have the ship in front of a green screen, then you'd have a star background, and they'd have to marry those two. And if you had more than one ship and add it, like even if you had like a planet or something like else that has to move separately, so you have all those different elements that optically they would have to run through the optic printer, and then you also have to do the whatever you call them, the matte lines. So that's like 3 or 4 levels from the negative is what you're getting in that final product. So what they've done here is they took out the middleman. So you're getting basically the negative on all the layers is what we're trying to say on those images. But when for the images they redid for VEIGE and some of the other stuff, because like You know, when they're stepping onto the to those things to get on to start walking into
The
Beecher.
octagons, yeah.
The octagons. In the CGI version, they actually have the octagons starting to form with lights and stuff, and they actually have a little CGI version of all the characters walking across. So because they have like a really wide shot. So like those kind of things they had to redo again is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so anyhow, Project Cambrian also said you need to review the game just for fun, mind you. He's talking about Dead by Daylight. I want to figure out, first of all, how to stream it. I have to figure out how to do that without giving YouTube all my permission. And somebody said something about doing it through Twitch or something like that through my PS5, maybe. And then I got to figure out how I can talk to you guys. But you guys, I'm going to warn you now, I use the C word a lot when I game.
You mean computer?
Sure.
Calculator?
Yeah.
Complicated?
Yes, it's a very complicated word. Sander Hammerslag has been a member for 3 months at the maximum effort puppy level and says the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 Christmas special will be I think we read this one already, but thank you again for that. I think you got in here twice, Mikey, or I just didn't unplug it. I might not have unplugged it.
Sorry, my bad.
Mecha J, no, it's probably mine too. Mecha J says, wanna bet people who say white people should not see Black Panther Wakanda Forever are going to be same ones that'll call them racist for not seeing it if the movie flops. Exactly. And I think that's kind of the whole hypocrisy or hilarious irony of the whole thing is they're setting it up for that, right? And clearly Disney isn't, well, as far as we know, putting this idea out there. It's this small group of people that are saying this shit. But it's going to be funny if it doesn't do well. Because yes, you're right. We will be blamed. You're not wrong. You guys disagree?
We're all going to be blamed.
Just save those tweets so that when they say it, just do a retweet or reply with that image. Like, we listened.
Save your receipts because Charlie's Angels 2019, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
That's why they hedged it, though. We were supposed to buy tickets for black people. You know what I should do? It'd be hilarious.
Say it.
Mikey, I want us all to start doing this.
What?
When it comes out, let's all stand out in front of Black Panther, take a couple, like $100. $100.
Okay.
Let's see how long it'll take you to spend that $100 if you just, every random black person that walks by says, I want to buy you a ticket to Black Panther, and see how many actually let you. Without looking
I
at
can
you
do that
funny.
down the street. You want me to do it this week?
I can't do it because you know what's funny is I doubt any black people would show up. That would be.
Oh no, my theater is a community theater. All right. When does this movie come out?
November 11th.
Two weeks from now or whatever. 2.5
Perfect
weeks.
weekend, November 11th and 12th. In fact, wait a minute. I think that weekend I'm going to go. I think that's the weekend I'm going to visit Elijah Snow up in Columbia. I'm in. Done. Stay tuned. Come back. I'm going to do it that weekend.
Because they're going to come from it. Because to me, here's the thing: is I doubt it. There might be 1 or 2 black people that'll show up in my town.
No,
I don't know.
I'm in. I'm going to go to downtown Columbia or right here in Hilton. I know exactly where I'm going to do this. I'm in, and I'm going to film. Can I film it?
Oh
yes,
no,
I want us to film it. That's the whole
and then
point.
be like, look it, we tried.
He fucking tried. Like,
all right. Do you want me to wear my Midnight's Edge shirt or no?
Nah, that's up to you. If you want to. I mean, that's not a. The whole point is just be like, yeah, like, because like I said, in my cases, I don't think anybody's going to show up.
Oh, I guarantee you, I know exactly what theater to go. In fact, when I just saw Black Adam, third of the like,
the funny little thing will be white person, white family, white guy, white couple.
All right, I'm done.
I think they're white.
I'm in a book. I'm in.
Do it like that Alex Stein 99 video. Just have somebody like, hey, do you want a ticket?
See, in my market, so the town that I'm in, we have around a 30% Latino market, and Latinos actually they love going to the movies. It's basically almost like tradition for a lot of the families. And then there's like about 5%, Black African American demographic. How is that going to counteract the Hispanic, Asian, and white?
Bro.
Hispanic,
for the purposes of this movie, Hispanics don't count.
To make it even more, to make it better yet, just because this will really confuse the matter, because when you do go up to them, you got to say why you're doing it. So you got to pick one of those people that put the tweet out there or the Instagram post.
Yeah, I'll have it
on behalf of so and so. I am doing my part, and I'm going to buy your tickets for Black Panther, and you just keep walking with.
Right, exactly. Walk them right up to the cashier.
Right. I'm
And then
in.
you'd be like, why are you doing this? And be telling him, like, I don't know, I got to protect you on the way.
This is happening. I'm doing this. This is happening. Stay
You're gonna have to
tuned.
probably get somebody to help you with this. You
No,
know
no,
what?
I'm gonna get
We
a
gotta
license.
call Gary and
I'm gonna get a license.
we gotta have
so-
those guys do it too.
All right, we'll have them do it too, and then we'll do an East Coast, West Coast version, and then no, I'm going to be in Columbia that weekend, so I'll have my buddy Elijah Snow film
I
it.
can see Gary and Steve actually showing up like Men in Black, looking like fucking like security guys. Like, we're here for your protection.
Well, what does the chat think?
And then-
Chat. One if you want to send Mexican Iron Man in, or 0 if I stay home. 1, we send me to the theater. 0, I stay home. Let's see what the chat.
If Gary's listening, you guys are gonna love it.
I'm gonna call him tonight.
Because I can see Gary. He'd be like, we got Family One moving. Family One is moving now. Like, he talks to us. No, he'll get in trouble for that. But
No, I won't.
I would love to see it. I would love
It's
to.
happening. It's happening. I'm getting the footage. You just got to edit it. I'll post it up.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll edit that. Anybody does that and sends me the footage. I just don't want anybody getting in trouble or hurt. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be like, if anyone gives me a flack, I'm gonna be like, hey, my people are in the movie. We're all good here, bro.
We're getting a lot of ones.
Oh, the chat's sending me in. All right, it's overwhelming.
Mr. Tickle Trunk points out that camera rolls. Tom walks up to the line and turns to the camera, pause with wind sound. There ain't no black people here to buy tickets for. Fuck. That's pretty much it.
Well, then do that. Do that one. That's even better.
You should do that one.
Like,
That
what
would
am I
be. I'm going to
supposed
go to a
do in
different theater.
Wisconsin, people?
I'm going to go to a different theater. And then I finally find black people. I go up to them and, hey, I'm on behalf of so-and-so, the coalition, I'm going to buy you tickets and I'm going to make sure you get to the show. Okay. You'd be like, get the fuck out of here, white boy.
And then you have to say, listen, you're the 5th theater I've been to find you people. What do you mean, you people?
5 theaters. Yeah, what do you mean, you people? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, shit, and then run away.
Yeah. Don't call the cops.
This is gonna be good. I can't wait.
Oh, Lord. I can't wait. This is going to be hilarious. Yes. Oh, shit. I don't know if I can manage to do this, though. That's the thing.
I'm in. I'm already going in. I'm already.
If other people can, I can try and make it work in my hometown. I don't know if I could drive to 5 different theaters, though. That's the thing. Yeah, I think it's time for
to where.
Well,
I think it's time for Snow
you got a
White
couple of
privilege to
weeks.
end.
You have a couple of weeks. Go to a photocopy place. Put up ads saying if you're a black person at this theater, go to this theater and I'll buy your ticket. First 5 get free tickets.
Can I? Oh, this is perfect. So I can use the Wakanda stuff I bought from Namor because I got green. I ordered.
You show up like that, people are gonna look at you fucked up.
Dude, I ordered from Amazon. I ordered a green. I have a green nose ring and I got green earrings that I ordered from Amazon. All I need, the only thing I don't have is the green boots. So I was gonna go with like
shit.
Adidas. I was gonna
Did
go
you
with
find
Adidas.
wings for your legs?
You're gonna get arrested if you show up dressed like that.
No, he can just claim he's one of those minorities.
Right. I'm like, I was just like, no.
I'm in the movie.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in the movie. I'll be like, I am an extra in this movie película cinema.
Oh, Lord. What are we doing? We're gonna get Mikey arrested.
No, he can't get arrested. He's not breaking any laws.
No, I'm offering to buy tickets. I'll be like, hi, I'm gonna come up.
Indecent exposure for that.
I'm gonna get my hair slicked back. I'm gonna get my hair slicked back. I'm gonna get a Namor. I got a clip-on nose ring. I got clip-on green fluorescent earrings. All I need are the green booties, and then we're going in.
Oh shit.
And then the question is, listen, as long as he doesn't spend a certain amount, he doesn't have to make a 501c claim for charity, so he's good.
I don't care about writing off the amount.
That's why I said $100. I'd be like, yeah, he'd lose $100. It's worth the video. Mecha J says, want to bet people who say white people should. Oh wait, we got this one. Thank you, Mecha J. That's what got us down this road to begin with. Big bot. You can't just imagine what your $5 might have just bought there, buddy. Big Boss SB says, question to the panel: what Marvel DC character that hasn't made it on screen yet would you want to see? Oh boy, I know you guys, Nick and Script, probably have a bunch.
Oh yeah.
See, my issue is just
on Marvel side. On Marvel side, it's either Wonder Man or Quasar because they're funny people from the Avengers. And on the DC side, Ted Kord's Blue Beetle and The Question.
Damn it. Damn it, Script. You took my DC ones. I would probably just add Booster Gold, and that would make 3. But yes, I had those 2 in mind.
Yeah.
Oh, Marvel.
I don't know about Mikey, but mine would be just pretty much. There's certain characters I want them to get right first,
like Superman?
like the main characters, right? Like, I'll worry about that other shit later. You get the main characters right, the rest is gravy.
Mine's easy. I'd love to see Bane done right.
Yeah,
Graham Nolan.
It's not a bad one.
See that.
Nick, did you have any more?
As far as Marvel goes, obviously, I'd like to see Adam Warlock. I'd like to see a Namor that looks and acts like a Namor. I'd like to see a Johnny Storm done right, because yes, Script, I love Johnny Storm, and yes, he is ridiculous, but I'm all about it. I will stand by that. He's an idiot. I'll be glad.
He almost married a Skrull. So.
Oh yeah, but he's my idiot, so I'll own that. I'll own that one to the bank.
Yeah.
As far as villains, I would actually really like to see. I'd like to see a Spider-Man movie done right with Scorpion. I like the story he has with J. Jonah Jameson.
I was gonna say
but I'm a big Mac Gargan fan. I think his story with JJ. I feel like that is something you can have J.K. Simmons be in the movie for more than 5 minutes and have it be an important role. So for me, I gotta have Scorpion, and one that's a big imposing villain for Spider-Man too. So that makes for great action scenes.
Yeah, he doesn't specify heroes or villains here, because that's a good point. Like, I would argue the villains have gotten the shaft more than anything, because Batman and Spider-Man have the best rogues gallery in both camps, and we only see the same 4 or 5 villains out of both every time. And don't get me wrong, I love those villains. Joker's probably my favorite villain of all time, like most people, but I got my fill of Joker. There's plenty of other bad guys. We've brought this up with Superman, which will actually kind of segue into our final story, which is just kind of a throwaway piece anyway. But I would love to see Metallo, Brainiac, certain other characters on that side done correctly, and it's usually the villains that are just
the
kind of tossed off
from Batman.
Ventriloquist, the Toy Man.
Scarface.
Oh yeah, Scarface with him.
Scarface.
That'd be a great complex. Had this crazy old man with the Scarface doll. Is the man just crazy, or is his doll just alive? I love that idea. That would make for a really cool Batman movie.
But they can't even get the main characters right half the time anymore. Actually, more than half the time right anymore. So at this point, that's kind of where I'm at. I'd rather just see the main. Oh, and Hulk is one of my favorite characters. That he's never gotten a straightforward, decent fucking film. Like, as much as I like the 2009 or whatever movie, whatever it was that came out with
Edward Norton, the Incredible Hulk.
Norton, it's still not quite a Hulk movie. Like, I think there's a movie that we haven't quite gotten. Part of it was there with the Eric Bana movie, but that's just a piece of it. It's like, I want a decent, straightforward Hulk movie where it doesn't necessarily always have to be an origin story per se, but even he hasn't really gotten a decent origin story at this point. And I love the old series, so if you can incorporate pieces of that as just kind of a wink wink, like, I just feel like he's a character that hasn't been utilized. Like, they did a lot of great stuff with the duality of it in certain films, but they've never really explored it as good as they could. Like, there's a very Jekyll and Hyde kind of side to it that they've never really dove into too much, that I really feel like could be explored. I don't know, from a writer standpoint, Script, what you feel about that, but I just feel like he's never really gotten his just dues, I guess is the best way of putting it. And then when you get to Ragnarok, yeah, it's nice to see him being goofball Hulk, but then now we've got fucking smart Hulk, and I don't like that. That goes against the whole idea of the character.
Well, Hulk is a weapon that, destroys whatever you point him at.
Yeah. Or in general, he's just rage incarnate, right? Like, you can't control him. That's the whole point.
Yeah, the story really comes on the Bruce Banner side of things.
See,
that's what I mean, is that struggle. Anymore. Yeah.
He's Mark Ruffalo. That's the thing now. He's Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo is definitely far from the sharpest tool in the shade.
Shed.
Sorry, shed.
You said shade.
Well, listen, if you can't afford a shed, you have to put your tools in the shade.
This is true.
Oh.
You don't want to leave your fucking shit out in the sun.
Ooh, so maybe I was right.
They get hot to touch.
Yeah. and Hulk will get mad, and you don't want to see him when he's angry. So that's what I'm saying. That's what we lose, right? Like, that's the dichotomy we lose, is that whole idea of Bruce being put in a situation where we know it's like a Hitchcock, like we were missing like that Hitchcockian Hulk story. We all know he's the bomb ready to go off. He knows he's the bomb ready to go off, but everybody around him generally doesn't know. And that's why it's, you put him in those positions and situations that are interesting. And you also have the dynamic with, Betty and the government and everything else. And those things can all make a very interesting, like, I'm not going to say in the tone of a Winter Soldier, but you could have had a Hulk movie that was that well received if you did it right, is my point. But like, yeah, so that's my thing, is just getting the main characters first, and then maybe we can worry about some of the other characters like Polka Dot Man and shit like that. But yeah, Camelbot Killer says, Tom, I feel your pain. If you build it, he will come unless you invent and build a time machine. The days of good storytelling are history. I don't want to believe that, Camelbot. I believe that there are some young people that really do genuinely want to tell good stories. I know Script is one of those people in the world today that just wants to tell a good story and get away from the politics of it all. And that's what's important. And it doesn't necessarily mean that good stories can't be political either. It's just the way they're being told now is not good.
The method is preaching as opposed to more philosophical.
Like, I'm reminded because I just watched Night of the Living Dead, the original classic, the other night.
Well, you can do a great political story. You just gotta give people something to like say, okay, that gave me something to talk about and think about. Instead, they're teaching you how to think versus what to think.
It's one-sided because drama comes from conflict. So if you make both arguments really, really strong, that's going to put people on the edge of their seats, curious as to what's going to be the resolution, the conclusion of this story. Mm-hmm. We don't get that too often when political ideology is forefront. Mm-hmm. This is clearly the good side, and we're not even going to tell you why we're good. We're just going to talk about how they're bad, and not share their perspective, not to make them sympathetic or anything of that nature, but just get inside their heads so that we realize how dangerous and how much of a threat the antagonist is. That's important. That's what's being lost.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Tom.
I was just gonna say, and that's the thing, is you don't even have necessarily get into political things per se. I mean, you are, and to a point you can, like, that's why I brought up the Dead series, right? I love Romero, especially the sequels, because you get to Dawn of the Dead, and that's a big compliment on consumerism, right? And you get into Day of the Dead, which is more about the military-industrial complex. Then you get into the Land of the Dead, which is more about the separation between classes. So it's his way of telling these stories without being so fucking preachy, even though the last two that I mentioned are probably more on the nose than the first two or three were. However many was Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Day of the Dead would be is really kind of on the nose, but I love it because it's done well. But go ahead.
That's one with John Leguizamo, right?
That'd be Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead, okay.
That's the one with Dennis Hopper,
Yeah, Dennis Hopper.
That's the last big one. He did more Dead movies after that, but most people don't really, because he did like Diary of the Dead, something else, Survival of the Dead, and Island of the Dead, I think, after that. But they're just kind of more or less just really low budget George Romero ish kind of movies. He's still not quite himself anymore. He doesn't seem to have as much to say with those as he did with the first four, is what I'm trying to say. But the first one kind of accidentally became that, because when he made it, it was already done, and just as they were getting ready to release it, they had, I believe, if my memory is correct, you had the assassination of Martin Luther King, and they were debating on whether or not they should change the ending. And at that point, they made the decision. They're like, nope, fuck it, we're leaving it. He goes, even though that's not necessarily what we were commenting on at that moment in time when we made it, the statement now is even more
poignant.
Poignant. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, in the end, it still works for the movie, but because the whole story is kind of about that whole idea of how the zombies are just basically, people and how they consume things. And anyway, I'm not going to get into that because it's a very long discussion. But no, I agree with you, Camelbot, to a point. But I think I want to believe we can get back to decent storytelling, and I think guys like Script are a sign of that. EVA Unit 4A says, even though Shuri became Black Panther before Disney bought Marvel, Wakanda Forever is still going to be woke as F because Feige hasn't learned yet. Hashtag MEAD.
Okay,
you're probably right.
I wonder if he means in the sense that from the books where she was basically filling in, or if in the sense that Black Panther, aka T'Challa, became a kind of sidelined in his own movie, because he was more effective in Civil War than he was in his own movie. So I'm trying to figure out what he's on to with that comment.
Well, here's the thing. I get what he's saying here to a point, but this is where I just point out their hypocrisy to where the only time the comic accuracy matters is when it's for their own bullshit.
Yes. Oh yeah.
If we want to use it for an argument, then it's not good enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But
yeah.
They dice through 30, in some cases 50 years of history to get to all this other crap that they are trying to do in the last 6-7 years. Oh, I know they speed rushed it, they sprinted towards it. And the funny thing is the shirt thing, that happened actually quite a moon's back. But once again, that was a very limited thing. That wasn't like this is it. She's gonna be the new Black Panther. This is the status quo. That was nothing more than a fill-in story until we have T'Challa back.
Yeah, and then Camelbot comes back with, I mean that Hollywood in the last 10 years has fallen into the poop pit. It'll take them 10 plus years to finally get woke preaching out of stories only because it loses much money. No, I see what you're saying here, and I can understand where you think it could take that long to fix it. But I think Script's right. I think 2024 we'll start to see a big change.
I hope you're right, Tom.
I think so. Really wow, Script is the one who predicted that, so I hope he's right.
No, I hope you're right, Script, too. I really want you guys to be right.
Script is always right. I said so.
No, I'm not. I just see the way that I saw patterns and trends going. 2024 seems like it's going to be the year to right the ship. Now, the only thing that could circumvent that is if another person wins a political office, a significant political office in Hollywood, then goes crazy again. But
we'll have to see.
Hopefully, they'll be able to. The crazies won't be in the position of power to actually turn the industry crazy again.
Yeah. Your muzzle uncle says that James Gunn music video was hilarious. Well, thank you. Thank you. I shared it on Twitter as well. Even though I'm not happy with the one Zoom, it should have come later. It's supposed to fade out. D-Bud Martin says Mikey hates the Flash because that's what his lady friends call him. He's in and out in the Flash.
I don't know. You know what? I'll see you, DB Martin, outside behind the gym. DB, I will see you behind the gym at the bike racks. And just so you know, I'm not the same guy you met a year and a half ago. I've been trained by Latino Slant. I'm tough now.
He was already wicked with a lightsaber.
So that means D-Bud completes the deed in a flash.
Watch what I can do now. Hail Latino Slant, who I see in the chat. Hail Latino Slant.
The Magitech Mag says we should enlist Alex Stein to participate.
Oh, that would be the icing on the cake right there.
Yeah, that'd be funny. We'll see if it works out. Mr. Tickle Shrug says camera rolls. Oh, we got this one already, but thank you. Yeah, I got one that popped up. I want to pick a Mikey as Namor, says Magitech Mags. Well, hopefully you'll get that on video in 4K. Big Daddy Emma. Stay tuned. Big Daddy MRI says, this is my contribution to Mikey's bail money. I hope he
$5 is not a lot because it's usually like
every little bit helps.
All right, cool.
I hope it helps him get out of jail. Well, hopefully he doesn't wind up in jail.
Yeah.
Jack GEC 812 says, sure some might be happy for free tickets, but weird. That's what I'm saying. You got to kind of go at it a little weird. Because, yeah, there's some people who just be like,
I'm going to go at it dressed like Namor.
Because if they think you maybe work for the theater or something like that, they'll be like, oh, you're giving out free tickets? Cool. No, but no, you tell them what you're actually doing. You can't hide behind this. Like, we're doing this thing. Yeah.
I go up and said, hi,
I want you to be 100% honest. Yes.
I go up and say, hi, I'm here to be an ally and not be racist. Can I buy your ticket?
Something to that effect, yes.
Okay.
You have to be 100% on this. Aloha boy, if I could talk, says Tom, Cats in the Cradle would have been a good choice for your video. It's another that's a dad-son song, though. Yeah. I mean, I guess that kind of fits to a point. I see where you're coming from, but like Script and I are coming from, they were meant to be their own partnership, right? Like, that was the whole thing. Like,
that was the plan.
Yeah. So I feel like I made the right choice. I still stand by it. And then we've got Big Boss SB who says, follow-up question to panel, favorite superhero of all time to date. Oh, wow. Well,
Batman.
mine's technically the Ninja Turtles first, then Superman, then Batman, then Hulk, then probably Spider-Man. What about you guys? That's my top 5.
Batman, Green Lantern, Iron Man, that order.
Script?
Yeah, it'd probably be Batman, Superman, Wildcat. It's mostly DC characters. Green Lantern, I enjoy a lot.
Yeah, I can see that. Nick?
Spider-Man, Daredevil. As far as DC goes, probably Hal Jordan. At the mention specifically Hal Jordan. Greatest Green Lantern ever.
Thank you for your leadership and your vision and your accuracy.
Yeah. All right. So we've got Mr. Buttcrack Media who sends in a super chat. Thank you for that. Let me see if I can see what it is here. I don't have it up on my thing here. Do you see what it is, Mike?
I'll take a look at the crack.
I can't
it's got it's just got a bunch of emojis. Yeah, it says
no. He sent us a pooper sticker.
Oh, maybe it was 2
There's
of them.
another one besides that.
Oh, yep. I see the second one. Then
he sent us a pooper sticker. And then we have your Muslim uncle who says your donation for Darth Vatos training regiment. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Darth Vatos kick your ass, I say.
Yeah, he's pretty Mexican, that guy.
Your Muslim uncle?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he looks more Mexican than I do, and he talks like that. You know, that kind of.
Oh, I thought he was Muslim.
He is. No, he is.
I suppose you can be Muslim and be anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, he is. He's just, you know.
Never mind. There goes my races.
He's very California with his Mexican Chicano accent.
He's going to kick your ass now, Tom. Mr. Buttcrack Media says, hey, Mikey. Elf says, hello. Ha, 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 ha.
Hello. A peace treaty is in the works between what happened with me and Alf this weekend.
Oh, then Big Boss actually he meant favorite superhero movie to date.
Oh,
well, I guess
Iron
the order
Man
would
1.
still be technically kind of the same. I mean, Superman the movie, then probably TMNT 1990. Those two are pretty neck and neck. Boy, gosh, then maybe Dark Knight. I don't know.
Ooh. Man,
but like
tough.
Superman the movie and TMNT are my top. Like those my
probably are the most. Yeah, probably the best adaptations.
Representations. Yeah.
Damn, that's tough. For me,
I do like Batman Returns, but that's more of a guilty pleasure.
I actually like Batman Returns. I actually like
the
it
script
more
and I
than
have
the
talked a
first
little
one.
bit about that one on our A.
We have, yeah.
Thing,
It's got a charm to it still.
So yeah, what about you? Did Mikey answer?
Iron Man 1.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. Surprised it's not one of the Batman movies, actually.
I really liked Iron Man 1.
I guess so. There you go. That is that one I could put in there as far as like it stands up with Superman and TMNT as far as
Iron Man and Captain America, the first Avenger, are really strong.
Really good, yeah. I agree. I forgot about Captain. I keep forgetting about that, and I always talk about how underrated it is too. First Captain America. I almost wish we had a version that didn't really leave as a cliffhanger, like it was its own fucking movie in a way. Like I hate that. That's the only aspect of the movie I dislike, because it feels like it goes off into left field when they have that ending, like that.
When he wakes up in the future or present.
Yeah. Because they don't really. There's like a movie missing there. It feels like it's like in between that and the Avengers, right? Like it feels like I mean they address some of that stuff in Civil War or not Civil War, Winter Soldier, but it still feels like there's a piece of this story. It's like no, we need to see Captain America, adjusting to this shit a little bit more
before he starts leading a team of other superheroes.
Yeah. Like he almost had to
I guess they Batman Mask of the Phantasm because it was in theaters.
Oh yeah, Batman Mask of the yeah, forgot about that one. Yeah, and I see Donnie Pearson and Mega Wing Zero brought that up too. It looks like.
Oh yeah.
But thank you, Jesus Davila, for the super sticker here as well. We got I like that Scream, even though I don't like that new Scream movie, but I like that icon you got there. $1.99, thumbs up. Thank you for that. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please do that. Then we got one more here from your Muslim uncle who says, Wildcat script. Are you a secret pugilist? Am I saying that right?
As in boxer? Maybe. I've been known to throw some punches. Attack the solar plexus.
You're not a small guy, from what I hear.
No. I mean, I'm not a giant, but I'm not a...
No, but you're not a little guy. But yeah, this is the only other story I really had to touch on, jumping off of the James Gunn. All this stuff is related news. Henry Cavill says he will be enormously joyful when he returns. I never gave up hope. There's a bright future ahead. Now, we covered some of this, but what I wanted to get to this point, and I wanted to really get Scripps' take on this, because I think he's sending out a lot of coded messages with the idea that, yes, we're going to see a much more brighter and joyful Superman here, is what he's kind of getting at. And we kind of, Andre and Mr. H and Paulie of Latino Slant and myself and Nick of Echo Base, we kind of discussed this a little bit earlier in his channel, but I really wanted to get your take, specifically Script, on this, because I know you and I are big Superman fans, and that's something we want out of this. And the reason I'm asking is, do you think, and I kind of already know the answer, but so it's kind of a rhetorical one, but let's get us into a conversation nonetheless. Henry Cavill will have a lot more say in this going forward, and he wants a more traditional Superman. Do you think that's the case?
I hope so. I think they're going to get that, and I know some people were trying to trend on Twitter that it was going to be Zack Snyder directing the Superman sequel. I doubt that. I know they're trying to argue, well, he and James Gunn are friends. I posed this question to you: was Zack Snyder at James Gunn's wedding a month or so ago? Because if he wasn't, they're not really friends. They're probably friendly in business, but not friends. And no, you cannot counter that saying he was filming Rebel Moon. Many directors have taken a day away from filming to go to their friends' weddings. It's kind of a thing. Nobody balks an eye on it. It's usually actually put into the schedule.
Plus, if it was on the weekend, yeah, like.
So yeah, I do hope that he does want. It all depends on who he's going to get. The stuff that I've not so much been hearing, but just been piecing together through some interviews that Henry Cavill has been making, and what Warner Brothers has been wanting. Something in the back of my mind is saying that Christopher McQuarrie is going to be the guy that writes and directs this Superman film.
And that's the guy who just directed.
He's doing the Mission Impossible stuff. He worked on Top Gun Maverick.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
he's already worked with Cavill before, and they got along swimmingly. And remember, this is also the guy that with Paramount said, no, Henry can't shave his mustache. So,
yeah. And then we do have a few more super chats here, guys. I see I missed a handful of them. We're gonna get back to those, so don't worry. There will be no super chats left behind. But yeah, you kind of touched on the other piece of this too. I was already going to get into. So yeah, like you kind of jumped into all this head first, and yeah, that's kind of my feelings on the whole deal too, and the sentiment of it all. And hopefully, we will get a more traditional Superman going forward. Nick or Mike, anything to say about this little piece here?
No.
I hope that this ends up following through. That Henry has the pull that apparently seems to be what's going on for him. I hope that he does get that, because if he does, I truly believe him that he will make sure that we get a proper Superman through and through. Because man, I've heard so many talks about how all these movies need to reflect the world that we live in today, and then I bring up Top Gun Maverick and how great that did. And it didn't have any sense of, we'll just say, current modern world. And look at what it did. I'm not saying Superman can't have any of that, because it can. It could still be good. And I'm not saying by way of like all the crazy postmodern stuff, but it could be in a current world. But you can have a little escapism Superman movie in 2022, and I believe it will do gangbusters. Like, I think the audiences are truly ready for more Americana, bring the people together, hopeful, movies. What's it called? Aaron Sparrow, one of the writers from the Young Justice season. He actually wrote to me recently on the Twitter land. He's saying, "No, we need to make Superman a character that we want to be like him, not him be like us." And I thought that was well said. Yeah, I
Very well
want a
said.
Superman.
Oh wait, is he one of the guys? Wait, Young Justice the comics or Young Justice the cartoon?
The cartoon.
Oh yeah, those guys are. They had a stumble previous season.
They did, yeah.
But the latest one that came out, I thought was pretty darn solid comparison.
It was an improvement. And he was part of some of those episodes, and he's actually really one of the few writers too on that team who actually listens to criticisms and tries to work around it. Says, hey, I try to build off the story the best I can with my touch. But no, Aaron's a really nice guy, and yeah, I agree with him. Like, we need that Superman that's gonna make us hopeful. We need a movie that we can all stand up and cheer and just lose our minds. I want that movie that people are just like going nuts about. And I feel like Superman's the right thing. And you go to many other countries, whether it's Ecuador, shout out to Pablo from Geek Tripology, Midnight Such Espanol, or even in Africa, lots of people know Superman and the quote truth, justice, in the American way. They are synonymous with each other. And I truly believe the world will be brought together by that. Not obviously everyone, but far more people than not. And I think the way Spider-Man 2002 was the antidote to 9/11, I think a bright Superman's the antidote to this current climate.
It's the antidote to the 21st century, man.
Hey, I'm with you there.
The thing that's kind of ironic is the supporters of all the previous iterations of Superman within Zack Snyder's thing all say he's the Superman of this generation. I said, if that's the case, it's a really crappy generation.
Yes.
And the thing is, he can't be the best Superman ever until he's played Superman. So I want him to be the best ever. And you do that by letting him play Superman.
Agreed.
And doing the full range, which means he's Clark Kent. He's got a secret identity. He's got to hide it from Lois. He's doing investigative reporter stuff. He believes in truth, justice, and the American way. He believes in the power of the press and what its duty is to society. And I think the whole concept is that the Daily Planet has to be a pillar of that as well. Like Perry White has to believe it as well. They have to be. I would love it if they did here's something for a current day, if you want, where the Daily Planet is struggling a little bit financially because they're one of the few news outlets that actually is reporting on the truth of things and are being factual and not opinionated. And they're worried about getting crushed by the bigger media companies. And Clark Kent or Lois Lane manages to find that one story that highlights and exposes a whole bunch of fraud. And the world kind of rallies around, that. And Superman is there to protect Lois from the people that, don't want her to do that. And it could be, orchestrated by Lex Luthor in the background. And then you have the nice little distraction with a contract supervillain, like a Livewire, Metallo, a Toyman, Parasite, any one of those. It could all circumference exactly what's been going on now, but it has a more universal approach because, again, in an episode of Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Dean Stockwell plays a guy who is literally using the media to manipulate society so that he can eventually become president and start a new world order. That was in 1993.
That was 93 or 94. No, and I'm glad you mentioned that stuff about how they can use Lois. That's a great way of making Lois an effective character and still making her something that, I guess you could say for the female audience. So that way you don't downplay Lois. You can still make her effective by her being one amazing reporter who brings credibility to the field. That's how you prop her up without making her feel, I guess you could say, just secondhand, sideline. Thank you. Better word, sideline.
Which Margot Kidder felt like in this latter half of the first Superman film. Because like the best we got was her interview with Superman.
Yes. And we want people to believe that, like I said, the whole idea, a lot of people mistake the secret identity. They think, it's just some guy in glasses. The whole gist is that people think he's Superman at all times. They don't think he's just living amongst us. Like, he blends in with the crowd. That's his whole thing. Like, when sometimes he's at the Daily Planet, he acts like he's having like clumsier moments, to hide how sharp he is. Because then he'll have moments where he shows off how sharp he is. And they're like, hey, Clark, where'd that come from? That's really good. But he's got to have that, and I think they can do that greatly, and I really hope we can get that Superman so badly. I want Farmer Boy. I want Mama's Apple Pie. Like, I want the Kents to be there. Ma and Pa Kent. I want them to
bring
both be
Diane
there.
Lane and Kevin Costner back as the Kents, and they're both alive.
I would love
And
that.
they're there
I
to
would
be his
love
ear
that.
and give him some advice because they were well cast, but
Oh,
poorly
very well
written.
casted. Very
Well, like
well
I said,
cast.
we are going to be wrapping up shortly. We do have some super chats to go through, but there was another part of this I wanted to touch on, and Script already brought it up, actually. And I got to address this head on. Okay. I got to say this because you brought up a tweet that came out earlier, right? I have a message for all my fellow fans out there of Zack Snyder and directly to Mr. Zack Snyder himself. Stop it. Quit giving people false fucking hope. We all know you're not coming back. You know you're not coming back. Quit putting this shit out there. You're the reason we are in this place in the first fucking place. Stop it. Fuck off. Go away. That's all. It's wrong, motherfucker. Go away. That's all. No. You're a rich boy. Don't. It's your fucking fault we're here, motherfucker. Go away. I figured since this episode was fucked anyway.
Clip it, throw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was great.
You're not coming back.
See, the only reason I can see Zach coming back, and trust me, no one likes saying that more than me, is I do know that I do recognize that they have worked together on stuff before, like way back when. So it wouldn't be the most surprising thing, but I just hope someone looks at the numbers of what Snyder's stuff does, like, okay, you know what? Hey, that would be Peter Safran. He'd be like, okay, hey, listen, I get you're maybe buddies with this guy, but look at what his work has translated to. We tried this with Zack Snyder's Justice League, and clearly that did not resonate the way we had hoped to. So it's nothing personal, but it's just not going to work. Let's kind of just leave him out of the picture. We'll take some of his cast members with us, maybe acknowledge certain aspects of continuity, and there's some things we're just not going to bother with. Like Script said, let's make sure we have the Kents there. We need Ma and Pa Kent badly.
No. As I remind people over and over again, Zaslav said reset. He didn't say we're going back to the Snyderverse. He would have said that if that's what he meant. And Mikey, I know you're a bit of a Snyderverse fan, so I got to let you have the final word on this before we head back to Super Chats and get out of here, buddy.
Well, no one's opinion should matter as much as me because I am a post-Snyder traumatic stress disorder syndrome or whatever it's called. But fuck Snyder. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear the word Snyderverse anymore. Fuck him. After what he did with Geeks and Gamers, and then frankly, seeing his behavior over the media, I can't believe I was ever.
Somebody's hailing you.
Hold on a second. Latino Slan, I'm on a freaking live stream.
Is that Zach calling
No,
you?
it's fucking Latino Slan calling me in the middle of a live stream. And he knows I'm live streaming.
Paulie!
That's actually really funny. Good job,
Paulie. The first red flag is if you put a producer or director's name ahead of the content that they're making, and Snyderverse does that, and it's disservice to the characters of DC. The director and the writer, they should not be more important than the characters. They should be stewards of the characters.
The Snyderverse his mindset doesn't represent DC. It just represents what he liked from Frank Miller and Alan Moore, which neglect.
Which shows that he's not even a real comic fan. He's just like the trend.
No, and right there is the point why I like James Gunn taking this role on. I don't have a hard on for him or anything like that. Like there's a few people have thrown some shade at me here and there about it, and some other people I know. Look, I just know this about James Gunn. He knows he can't make a fucking Superman movie. Like Script just said, he knows these characters are bigger than the director or the writer or the producer. That's what's important to me. And I'm willing to give him the shot. And I think he's going to be successful because of that. Because he is he is able to look above his ego and know that this is not, I'm not the guy for a Batman movie. I'm not the guy for a Superman
And look,
movie.
let's be frank.
Right.
Let's be frank about Snyderverse. You know, when you cut through it, he's just look, now looking back, now that I'm I'm through the trauma, you know, I'm looking with a clearer lens. Let's face fucking facts. He's just another version. If you look at him, he just lived off of other comic book writers' iterations and made movies off of them. I mean, frankly, you know what I mean?
Right.
Let's be real. You know, if it wasn't for, jeez, I can't remember his fucking name right now. I'm so annoyed right now. What's the Alan
Horn.
No, not Alan Horn.
Or who are you talking about? Where
the 300 guy. The guy.
I mean Frank Miller's 300.
Frank Miller. If it wasn't, sorry, I'm spacing here. If it wasn't for, I'm still annoyed that Paulie called me in the middle of a fucking live stream. Anyway, if it wasn't for Frank
We're
Miller,
almost done.
If it was, well, no, I don't fucking need to call Paulie. I'm in the live stream. God, these fucking guys. Anyway, Frank Miller. If it wasn't for Frank Miller and Zack Snyder just trying to like copy, I don't want to hear any more about Snyderverse. And I was on the front lines. My Twitter history, my Facebook, I am well documented as being a hardcore Snyderverse guy. I was one of those maniacs that script has talked about. You know, where I made a hell of a lot more noise than the people warranted. You know, I hosted live streams, all that kind of shit. You know.
If you're listening, then why are you calling him, Paulie?
Because he's a Latino client of mine, and they always.
If he wants to be on the stream, all he's got to do is say, "Hey."
No, he doesn't want that. He wants to get access to his Mikey because he needs his Mikey to make his life goals happen and come true. And when he's a client, he thinks that his needs are more important than what I want to do on my off hours after work at 9:30 at the fucking night.
See, that's why we just a Mike during the day.
Fuck Zack Snyder. I don't want to hear Zack Snyder.
I love it when Mike becomes Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder.
Glenn Grossman.
Is this a business call? I'm in the middle of fucking dinner.
Exactly. I haven't been on this show literally in 3.5 weeks. And when I was on, I was only on for 45 minutes. So this is a big deal for me. But what does my time matter? When, whatever. Anyway, fuck Zack Snyder.
We got a couple super chats here. Camelbot Killer says, panel, if you were Chapek, how would you fix Disney? Get the woke out. Get the fucking woke out and be like, we're about profit and not about politics. You guys are concentrating on the wrong P.
Meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're straight or gay. I don't care if you're right or left or center. I don't care what your religion is. Just help bring good results to the table.
Yep.
That shouldn't be rocket science, but then again, we're dealing with
Does it sell toys? Does it sell tickets? Those should be the first two questions.
Does it translate to the demographics we're trying to
Can we make video games out of it? Can we see it on a cereal box? Will kids wear the t-shirt?
Well, people want to buy the poster and be satisfied enough with that until they see the movie.
Yes, or the storybook or the whatever. You name it. Will they play the phone app game?
Will they buy the companion comic book?
Exactly. All these things. That should be the first 10 questions out of, and they should have answers for before. Are you represented in it? Do you feel there's enough representation in this story? Does it feel like people will feel like this is a safe story to tell? Those shouldn't even be fucking questions, if you ask me. Those things should come into effect when you're worried about casting and crap like that. And then you just worry about who's best for the fucking job.
Who cares about safe? Safe doesn't inhibit. Safe doesn't provide for growth.
I guarantee you that's a question that's on some of their boards now after Thor Love and Thunder, and some people were so fucking upset that the movie was about cancer and they didn't pre-warn us. It's like, well, it's called movies, folks. It's
like I don't get that. Like, what about cancer too? Like, this is where we're at. Oh my God. That's so dumb. I did not know that happened. Really? That happened with Love and Thunder? People now want a disclaimer because someone went through cancer in their movie? Is that
absolutely
serious?
Look it up. It's a true story.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
Willie is in the house and says, just wanted to show some love. Well, thank you, Willie. I see you're doing some music on your channel now. Check that out. He does some pretty cool music.
Nice.
Scarebro is here and says state employment retirement accounts also put these ESG recs, I think, does he mean reps or requirements, on where all they are allowed to invest their money. Governments like Canada have backdoored policy into private business through finance. Oh, California. Okay. California, that makes more sense. Have backdoored policy into private business through finances, not law. Mikey, this is your domain.
Yes.
Is this true? I have no idea what he's saying here.
So what he's saying is that state employee retirement accounts, which are things like CalPERS, the California Pension Program, things like that, those funds put on their directive that they can only put their money sometimes into ESG friendly investment funds and investments and in companies. So yeah.
All right, there you go. The more you know.
And it's absolutely insidious what they're doing.
And Lee Woodcock sent us in one earlier as well. Sorry about that. We didn't see it at the time. That would have been a better question at the time. I apologize. He wanted to know, what about Slowpoke Rodriguez?
Another great character in the what we will call, oh my god, why don't I should produce a Speedy Gonzalez cinematic universe.
Yeah.
The SG CU, the Speedy Gonzalez cinematic universe script. I'm counting on you to write all this.
Jesus.
Well, we gotta
man.
get it. We have to get the rights from Warner Brothers because they own the characters.
Hey Zaz, give us a call. We'll
Seriously, no. Like again, I put it up there to a bunch of my industry friends. They put it up there in public. If anyone has Hiram Garcia's
Fluffy will do the
address,
voice. Fluffy will do the voice. He already
if
said.
anyone has Hiram Garcia's email address, send it my way because I'll pitch him. I'll pitch him some cool
Let's
stuff.
do it.
Rock will love it too.
Tom, I need a little help with my Namor outfit.
Is it getting into crevices?
Well, look, I mean, okay, so I got the
It's gonna get into crevices.
I got the earrings, I got the nose ring.
Do you have they have the wings for the ankles, the ankle wings?
I'm gonna have to laser print those.
I think you're going through a lot for this, brother.
Yeah, I don't have enough muscles to keep the armbands on though. What are we gonna do about that? I guess
water wings. Replace them with water wings.
Water wings.
Okay. Oh, I could use floaties.
Yes, that's what we mean. Yeah.
Okay, floaties. Okay, I'll get floaties. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah,
all
just paint them gold.
I'm putting together my outfit. Okay, good. Thanks, team. Thank you, team.
Okay. Then we got EVA unit. Speaking of units, units. Beware, upcoming Transformers Earthspark is going to be woke as F. I'm not buying any toys from it. First Transformers series, I'm deliberately skipping. Rest in peace. How can you make Transformers woke?
Because you can, dude.
How?
Don't test on. They will turn anything into that.
Yeah, they already got it in with the trans part.
No, script right there, nailed it. You can.
It doesn't matter. I'm a robot who can transform into anything, so I wouldn't have any kind of issue with my sex. If I wanted to be a woman,
I would just be a woman.
Well, I mean, Optimus Prime and RC, they're an item, right?
Yeah, I guess. Who knows? I just don't get it. How can you even make fucking transforming robots woke?
Oh, you can.
Fuck.
Don't give them ideas. Trust
Where's
me.
the woke Care Bears and shit? Like you'd expect the things that actually should be woke.
Oh, it don't. They just haven't gotten to it yet. Because if you look at they're digging out for they're digging for scraps of the bottom of the barrel of franchises from the 80s and 90s. But okay, what has been touched in a while that we can now destroy? Now?
Woke G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
They're already there with a communist
Strawberry
writing the book for IDW, or is it now? No, it's no longer with IDW now. But at the time, they were already fucking up G.I. Joe, and then they were denying it because, of course, they do. That's the thing.
Well, G.I. Joe, I can see getting fucked up really easy.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Magitech Mag says, "We love you, Mikey. We forgive you for being a Snyder fan." Well.
No, I have now forgiven myself.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Mike. Okay, everybody say hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
I have been a Snyderverse free for a year, 3 months, 2 days, and this afternoon.
We're sorry,
Mike. I forgive you wholeheartedly.
Thanks.
I'm thankful you saw the light.
I knew not what I should have. I knew not what I did.
Well, of course you can't see the light. Snyder don't know what light is.
Right.
He wouldn't know how to light a scene if it fucking his life depended on it.
That was
Little
good.
Dandelion points out they already got the Care Bears. Oh, I'm not surprised. How can you wokeify the Care Bear? They're already woke. They're like
Any more than they
pre-woke.
are? Yeah. That's,
Yeah, they're like kind of pre-woke.
Dude, it's a hold my beer with how woke can
Care
you make
Bear stare. Then we got Dash Attack, who sends in a member chat. Thank you so much. Says, I think under Superman is going to be more traditional. I like Man of Steel, but I understand the
criticism.
I think he means, yeah. And agree Superman should be hopeful. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can like Man of Steel, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it has a big glaring flaw, which is most of the movie, Clark is trying to figure out his heritage and who he is. And then by the climax, he says Krypton had its chance. That's a direct contradiction to everything that was motivating him that far in that film.
And also, his parents were not his parents. They gave awful parenting advice.
Oh God,
Both
yeah,
sets really.
they're terrible parents.
That
That's a
pissed
Both
disservice.
sets actually.
That's a disservice to all the farmers and families that live in the heartland, because they're supposed to be representative of heartland values, and like they had none.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes.
Clobby pitched in.
Hey, Clobby. Camelbot, he was unable to make it tonight. He had family at the house. Camelbot says, I wish Elon bought Disney, firing 74% of the employees. Yeah.
He's already
That'd be
fired
interesting.
their lawyer that was on the Joe Rogan show.
There you go. Magitech Mag says, hit the like, y'all, for this hot panel. Well, thank you for that, Mags. And Lord knows the algorithm isn't going to help us. So if you guys hit the like button, that might help us a little bit. We got Dearest here who says, how much is Gunn like Kirby leaving Marvel for DC? What if he does New Gods? Recommendation on buying the Question Omnibus that I found on sale. Okay. Question number one. I find that kind of, it is kind of, you could probably draw some parallels to that. We'll have to wait and see, though. As far as New Gods, there's people who've already discussed in our panels here about how that's something that's right up Gunn's alley, so I wouldn't be surprised. As far as recommendations on the Question Omnibus, I'm going to turn this over to Script Doctor. I think that's one of your domains, or Nick.
Me or Nick, actually. Depends on, which omnibus, because I think there's 3 of them.
For me, it's anything that's got Denny O'Neil, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Dennis Cohen on it. If it's got all those names attached, you want anything that's got a collected edition with their name, because that whole run, it's like, what, 30, 40 issues, something like that, Script?
30, 40 issues. There's an omnibus that has the Charlton issues of the Question, and then it gets into the Sienkiewicz stuff. So if that's the omnibus, I highly recommend it.
Second that.
Because oh man, yeah, the Question is cool.
So good. Also, watch the one episode of him in Justice League Unlimited.
Question
It's
Authority.
a great episode. Yes, Question is so good. But dude, that Question run is absolutely essential. And if you wanted, I think Denny O'Neil came back too and did a Black Label story a few years ago. I heard it was decent. It was supposed to be a miniseries, so if you want to have something, old and something, I guess you can see more recent. So, just throwing that out there too, if you want something a little bit more recent, but obviously stick with Denny O'Neil, like at the end of the day, over the Black Label even.
Yeah, Denny O'Neil actually, I think, got the Question better than he got Batman, and he got Batman pretty good.
There you go. Those are the 2 men I would have asked in the first place, and I'm glad they're here on the panel. Mr. Tickle Trunk, the only other person would be Clobby, and he's in the chat there, and he'd probably tell you as well. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, Paulie isn't a client, Mikey. He's familia.
Now, while I'm shopping for my Namor outfit, he's not. Speaking of which,
he needs Mikey time, damn it.
Speaking of which, I got an idea. Okay, so look, I go into the theater with that outfit. Okay, I'm gonna have to.
Oh wow, that's quite.
Okay, I go in like this, but then when it's time for the popcorn action and before the lights go out, I strip down to this.
Ooh,
that's actually classic Namor, though. You can't do that. You got to make it look like the movies, because otherwise they're going to toss you out for indecent exposure, Mike. As long as you look like he does in the movie, you have the excuse that I'm showing up to support the film and my Hispanic heritage in the film.
Well, the only problem is that you see how the body's kind of triangular.
As they drag you out
from chest down to the waist. I'm kind of more inverted that way. Like it's more.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I mean that's not what he looks like in the movie. Neither one of those.
No.
All right.
That's like Namor of Art Anarchy there, though.
All
With
right.
the leather.
I'll keep shopping.
It's sad. I can't remember who brought it up, but when I look at those figures of Namor and I think about how The Rock's Black Adam, if he was never Black Adam, he actually has
Yeah.
a similar hairline to Namor. If he just grew it out and then give him the pointy ears, he'd be more Namor than the guy who poses as him right now.
Yeah. Then Aloha Boy sends in another super chat and says, I'm waiting for the Monchichi cinematic universe. Okay. And hopefully we didn't miss any other super chats. Let me know if you guys think we did. But the Monchichi cinematic universe, huh?
Did you get all the member chats?
I think so. Let me double check the
Twitter.
Oh my God. Can I show this, Andy, what you just sent to me?
I think
Or is this just for my eyes only? Never mind. He's telling me to check. Yeah. So I'm assuming he wants me to show it. Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, Lord. Parental discretion is advised.
Oh my God.
I'm going to kill you. Andy. Oh.
That is brilliant.
I love Andy.
Andy, what type of plastics do you use? Send me a DM of the list you got.
That was awesome.
That make
You know
toys
what,
that
Mikey? You may be pissed, but you're looking mighty fucking hot.
That's a strong core you've got
That's
there,
a
Mikey.
big hot toy.
Yeah. Well, let's just say objects in YouTube mirror are not exactly as they really appear in real life.
Uh-huh. Holy shit. Holy shit.
What a show.
To commemorate. Oh, to commemorate our video. There's the figure. Are you gonna be able to make 1,000 of those, Andy? I don't know. Mega Wing Zero says, do you think the New Gods show could work? A show? Yeah, I think it could possibly work. I think it'd be good as an HBO series. Yeah, like a House of Dragon. You just need a great showrunner. What do you think? I think so. Yeah. What do you think? Script, Bobby, or script, Nick?
Oh,
New Gods is tricky. Yeah.
But do you think it'd work better as a series than a movie? I would think. Because in that way, at least you can get into the characters. Because there's a lot of characters.
There are a lot of characters.
Some are used more effectively than others, though. It's not like, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty big casting of characters, whether it's Calabac or Big Barda or Forager or obviously Darkseid or Desaad. Like it could work as a TV show. I would say though, you gotta make sure that money is spent because I don't want a New Gods show to look cheap at all. And it's also gotta be Kirby color influence the way Ragnarok wanted to go Kirby colors. You gotta double down on that for New Gods because
I was just gonna say, you know, I would go out on a
half.
limb and say if Waititi would have some kind of like turnaround and wanted to have a comeback after Thor: Love and Thunder, you let him do New Gods, but you say do what you did with Ragnarok times 10 was what I was gonna say.
Cut the comedy.
Yeah,
definitely cut the comedy because the comedy's not gonna work for the New
but
Gods.
the vision style or whoever did the production
style, yes.
that or whoever did the production design for that movie, get them.
Oh yeah, whoever did the visual
because yes, that movie looks like of all the Marvel films, that is like my favorite film as far as the production design. Like it looks so beautiful.
Oh, it looks great. I've watched that on my TV a few times before. Like I said, I don't know if Taika will ever even get it right, even a writing style. But as far as a visual style, whoever did, yeah, I'm all about that for the New Gods. You got to have the Kirby crackle all over. Otherwise, for me, it's not the New Gods. I don't want them to look at Eternals like, hey, let's be like Zack Snyder.
Okay, guys, we're having a hard time with the wings. How about if I duct tape some ostrich feathers to my ankles?
You got a buttload of fucking rabbit chickens. Just rip some of the fucking wings off those.
Okay, that's good.
I'm sick of them. Sick of them. It's enough. Enough of them. But thank you for that, Mega Wing Zero. Yeah, it could be. Sean disagrees, thinks it should be better as a movie. I can see where you could do it as a series, though. Magitech Mag says Mexican Iron Man Mankini universe.
No. Well,
Wow.
I think before we launch that, I should go to Mag's place first.
Anyhow, then we have. I'm not even going to comment on that. Morgan King says, "Hey Mike, that rabbit chicken anti-reproductive cream is not working. See, it does the opposite. I started with 20. Now I have 6. You told him there was Morgan. It was a fucking scam. He sold you snake oil. Damn it, Mike.
I said no refunds.
I don't know. I mean, if he only has 60 now, that's a lot less than what he would have had without it, because I'm pretty sure it would have been at least
Thank you,
600.
Thank you, Script.
Probably because they're slipping around. That's all.
Thank you, Script. Thank you. See, Script is an ally of the Namor
Lord,
Brown.
I don't know if you sent that in before the joke, but that was well timed, my friend. Robert Montoya says Elon Musk just fired the Twitter CEO, CFO, and chief legal officer.
No,
well, he's cleaning house.
Did he?
Cleaning house.
Fires.
Hell yeah. Maybe Twitter's going to get decent. Nice.
Which is legal officer.
Nice. I forgot to take my meds today. So don't mind me. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping this up. I know we're trying for the last half hour now to wrap up. Comics Division's live, but he's not there because I think he's in Orlando. But the boys are live over there, and I'm going to probably hop over there as soon as I finish my dinner. I never got to eat earlier.
He's on. Comics is not going to be able to go to Orlando. He's on.
Oh, he's on there now? Okay.
Yeah, Comics is on right now.
He wasn't on when I looked over there before, but yeah, so the link will send you guys over there afterwards. I'm sure, Nick, are you heading over there too? Or
I will be right over there.
All right, well, I'll be a few minutes. I got to go finish my dinner, but that's interesting turnabout at Twitter, but not surprising. And yeah, check us out. Now Sunday, I don't think we're going to have one of our Sunday shows this week, but we should return the week after, because Doomcock is doing a Halloween special this week. So I think Mikey and I are joining him for that.
Yep.
We'll have fun with that.
But we will return with the wrap up next week. If not, maybe we'll have a little late edition or something like that. We'll see. We'll try and keep you guys posted on the community.
And I will be live on Loki's show for the Loki late night tomorrow night.
Oh, yes. Cool. Don't forget that. Yes, we have the Loki late night.
Central, is it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
That's 11 Eastern.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm out of tax.
Following your local news script. Anyhow, no.
And with that,
as we like to say, one last time.
I want to ask you about James Gunn and going to DC.
Yes.
No, I can't forget this evening or your face as you were leaving, but I guess that's just the way